Okay, and we are live. Welcome to the stream, everyone. We've got a fun, well, I mean, fun is subjective, but we've got a tournament in cat format, which is the August 2009 format, and it's going to be just like the format tournament yesterday with Teledad, where it is a double elimination, just all in one go sort of event. And right now there are only 6 players, which I don't really expect to see change that much because this format is very I mean it's very special, you know. It's its own thing, for sure. Because this is sort of like, you can draw parallels to Cyber format because there is sort of like some OTKs running around. You've got Rescue Cat, and what you can do is you can bring out Summoner Munch, pitch a spell, bring out Rescue Cat, bring out double X-Saber Airbellum, and then go into Dark Strike Fighter and do shenanigans. Because Dark Strike Fighter is as pretty rad a state here, which means that its effect reads, you contribute 1 monster and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the tribute monster level on the field times 200. And that can apply multiple times per turn. Doesn't have to happen main phase 1 either. So it can lead to some very, very explosive results. So, I'm excited to see some games of this in action. I'm just showing you an example deck list here that Barcode used to win the last event. But I'm excited to dive into some games. I'm not sure when exactly it's starting. I think there's one more person trying to join. So what we can do is we can sort of try and jump into, like the practice solo mode stuff that I did the other day. But yeah, Dark Strike Fire is Cannon Soldier on crack. Very true, Hoy. Yeah, because you're generally dealing more damage than Cannon Soldier is. The only way you're dealing less damage than a Cannon Soldier is if you're triggering like a level 2 monster, which you're not generally doing. So let's just go into solo mode and see what some test stands of this look like. It's not going to be like as impressive as like Teledad format for test stands because realistically you're doing something different. You're not trying to set up a board turn 1. You're trying to, pop off the next turn basically. But I mean, this should give you, this isn't really that impressive. There's no spells for Summoner Monk. But if we draw a spell for Summoner Monk, then this is going to go hard. I think the move here is just set like the Graveyard Spy, set T-Roar, set Bottomless, pass. That seems like the good move to me because this is resilient against a bunch of things, I think. So, I mean, let's see. Heavy is still in the format. It is limited, so, makes sense. So this can get punished, but if they've got Heavy, we flip Threatening. Next turn, we could potentially do a Spy thing. If they attack into Spy here, we get out another Spy. What's our draw next turn? Yeah, we wouldn't draw a spell here, unfortunately, but if the Spy brought something out of the deck, maybe we would have had a spell there. So, we'll have to see what happens here. Now this hand... this hand. Oh my goodness. This hand slaps. This hand is killer. The one thing that can make this better is Cold Wave. But I think what we do now, set Spy or set Tomato, one of the two. But the following turn, after we do this, if we're still alive, what we do is we bring out Summoner Monk. This goes to defense. We pitch either Reborn or BrainCon, depending on what they've got. Most likely BrainCon, but it really does depend on what they have on field. Pitch BrainCon, bring out a Rescue Cat. Bam. Tribute off Rescue Cat. Bring out 2 X-Saber Airbellums. And we've got a couple different options here. We could just go for double hand rip if we can't kill this turn, or we could go for slightly more damage by sinking off these for a Dark Strike Fighter. Let's say that their floodgates are open. We could potentially go for even a Reborn here to bring back the Airbellum. We could bring back Cat as well, but I don't really think it's necessary to bring back Cat. Do we play another Airbellum? Do we play a third Airbellum? And we need another target in addition, so we could bring out like Airbellum Raikou, I guess, off the other Cat. So actually, it'd probably be better to bring out Cat here. But yeah, and then we just go off to the races. We get in for a ton of damage. We tribute off our entire board for Dark Strike, and it's just nasty. We can even set up a Dark Arm play potentially, depending on what we do there. So it is a nasty, nasty deck, and this is sort of the thing that the deck wants to draw. It wants to draw Cold Wave turn 1. You activate Cold Wave. We've got Sangan here too, so we're gonna set the Sangan. Pass back to them. I mean, they could, if they've got like Summoner Monk of their own, they summon out Summoner Monk, pitch a spell, get in 2 Airbellums. They could go for Dark Strike Fighter plus the Airbellum hand rip, or they could just go for the, Airbellum hit over the Sangan, Airbellum hit in. I feel like Dark Strike Fighter plus the Airbellum would be better in that scenario because you're just getting a bigger attacker and attacking in. If they rip the Rescue Cat out of hand, that would be bad, but we can search out a Rescue Cat with the Sangan there. We could also search out just Summoner Monk. Actually, Summoner Monk's probably the search here. So we search out Summoner Monk. Let's say they hit Summoner Monk out of hand. We got Reborn to bring back the Summoner Monk and then do plays. If they hit the Rescue Cat out of hand, that's fine. We just bring out Summoner Monk next turn. So let's draw here. We draw Allure. We could go for that. We don't even need to go for that. We can just go for Summoner Monk here. Switch to defense, pitch the Allure, and bring out a Rescue Cat from deck. Bring out the Rescue Cat, and this is going to show how crazy this turn can get. Tribute off the Rescue Cat. Bring out double Airbellum here. We can go for, yeah, what I probably want to do here. So we go for Darkstrike Fighter now, for sure. Let's bring this out. And now we can go Reborn, bring back the Rescue Cat here, tribute off the Rescue Cat, bring out another Airbellum plus a Raikou. Raikou should probably go in attack, because why not? But then we can sync off these two, bring out, I don't know, level 5. I guess Android's the only 5 this deck's playing. No Catastrophe out yet. So we can bring out a 5. And then we've got enough cards engraved for Avarice. So we can try and draw something to extend even further. So we can put back, I don't really know here, Cat, Airbellum, Monk, Airbellum, and I don't know, Sangan, sure. So we've got enough to go for a pot play here. We draw 2 off pot. Those won't help us this turn, but if we can't kill somehow through this, then they could help later. And yeah, now we get in for a ton of damage. We tribute off the board for Dark Strike. I mean, just through Darkstrike Fighter's effect alone, we've got 3,000 points of damage. And just through these two attacking alone, we've got 5,000 points of damage. So that's the OTK if they've just got one monster on board for like Airbellum or something. But yeah, we're feeling really good about this. I mean, this is just a nuts deck. It can just get so much damage on board so quickly. This hand is not as good, but it is still fine. We can set this Raikou. We could honestly set Solemn Pass, and then next turn we could potentially get a Raikou pop. We got Minecon as well. We got Avarice in case we get enough cards in grave to go for that, but it's unlikely we'll go for that. The great thing about this deck is that it can grind as well as OTK, so it's pretty cool to see when it goes off. So this hand, I mean, this is really good to stop our opponent's stuff. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set Oppression, set Book, set the Great Priest's Guard. The great thing about having True Nade in hand is that if we do set up Oppression on our opponent's turn, we can then True Nade it back on our turn to then be able to go for like a Rescue Cat play, because this guard is likely surviving. If it doesn't survive, we're still fine because, like, you know, bounces the card to hand. So we can just go for Rescue Cat, go for double Airbellum, get in for 3,200 and rip 2 cards out of their hand, and that's still very good. So either way, we're in a really good spot there. So yeah, I don't know when the tournament's going to start. I apologize for the delays, but you know, hopefully it starts soon. This hand is also cracked. Do I even go for Cold Wave here? I might not go for Cold Wave. I might honestly just set Guard, set T-Roar, set Book, because we don't have the OTK online. So I don't want to use Cold Wave yet. I want to save Cold Wave for when they potentially, when we can potentially go for the OTK. What are we drawing next turn? We're drawing Sangan. That doesn't help. So maybe I should just go for Cold Wave turn 1. But like, honestly, it probably helps. Well, no, having the Guard protects against OTKs. So yeah, the low amount of players probably letting them wait. I think there is one more person trying to join, but it's acting a bit awkward for them. So it's probably, we're waiting for that. If someone wants to jump in and like play against this deck, we can do the same thing we did yesterday, where like once the tournament starts, you know, if the person playing is going to play in the tournament, we just jump out of the game. We watch the tournament. But I think it really is good to just show like how explosive this deck is by like getting some games with other people, because the test hands only show so much, right? This hand's probably set Raikou, set Bottomless, I don't know, set Mirror Force. If they've got Heavy plus the OTK, they've got Heavy plus the OTK. Maybe I should set TT instead of Mirror Force, but I don't want to lose the Raikou. So, yeah, it's a bit awkward there. But, yeah, let's see here. We're just continuing to do test hands. This is also a great... Didn't we get this exact test hand earlier? Am I going crazy? I know we had Guard, Oppression, Dark Arm. I guess we don't have Book this time. But, like, that's a very, very similar test hand. But I think this time we just set Oppression, set Bottomless. We've got MST to shut off our own Oppression if we need it, but we might not even need it. What's our next draw? Cold Wave, that doesn't help, so the Oppression is probably just going to stay online for a bit. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully you're getting to see how explosive this deck is, because it is crazy. I mean, there are other things you can play in this format, but this is the main thing. Yeah, this tournament already has more people than Teledad, so that's kind of wild, but it should go a lot quicker, so that makes sense. You know, if you're setting up for a tournament that wraps up in one day, maybe you have something later in the day that you can't attend a full tournament for, but if you're joining a cat format tournament, you're like, well, these games should go quick, and also, you know, I should be able to just get out quickly if, you know, if I need to go somewhere. So unfortunate drawing double spy. Do we play a third spy in deck? We play guard, so we do have a target in that, but we don't play the third spy. But I think the move here is probably... So Tomato can get out Summoner Monk, but we don't have a spell to deal with that. We do have a Crush card, though. Crush card can also deal with... Okay, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna set the spy, set the Crush card pass. We can't do anything with the Summoner Monk that we bring out off Tomato right away. What we can do is if they attack into Spy, you know, we can bring out this Guard, and Guard is a Crush card target. It is 1,000 or less attack, so we can tribute that off if we need to. It's not ideal, but I think this is fine. I think it's better than Raikou because it synergizes with another card in our hand, so it is fine. But yeah, Sunday is also probably more available than Saturday. That's a very good point, Hoy, as well. So yeah, this hand is also cracked. This hand is really good because, you know, I've been talking about the play with like Summoner Monk plus Cat, but if you've got a guard set and you've got a cat in hand, basically the same thing. This guard, if it survives a turn, bounces back in opponent's monster hand. Next turn, you just go for cat. Guard's still level 4. You can go into things here. Oh, also, I should mention, there is Arcanite Magician as well, and guard and Monk are both spellcasters, so you can go into Arcanite Magician as well if you want to do that line instead. So it's just crazy. This format is nutty. Oh no, what do you do here? Do you go for the Cold Wave? Yeah, you probably go for the Cold Wave because you can pitch any spell with this. So MST is, yeah. So I think the move is you go Cold Wave, set the Spy, pass back to them. Neko Arc format, that's what this is, yeah. We got the Melty Blood going on here. But yeah, I mean, that's what the cat is. Tomato set probably. Yeah, I think Tomato set probably is the move. If they attack over this and they don't have more things to do, we can go for like the Monk. If they do have more stuff, we can go for... Oh, there's only one Tomato in this deck. Okay, that's interesting. We can go for Sangan, though. Sangan's an option. Yeah, because we don't want to necessarily go for Monk because it won't be switched to defense. Yeah, so if they do attack in, and... Yeah, we probably just go Sangan. We can also not do anything and just go Gores, but if they've got, like, Airbellums, that's awkward. So I like having the option to go Sangan because Airbellum needs to do a direct attack specifically. So, yeah. Okay, looks like we are starting the tournament here. And yeah, we got 7 people playing, so let's dive into those games. Hopefully we'll be able to see some OTKs going on in progress there. And hopefully that test hand was able to sort of help you visualize some of the ways that this deck can get to lethal very, very quickly. And hopefully it showed you how explosive the format really is. But it looks like we are starting here. So we've got the tournament set up. Let me just refresh to make sure that it is the correct one. Okay, we got GMYFS versus Spawny, Megahorn versus Ratos, and Dumbtruck versus Haviology. So we got some repeat players from yesterday here because we did see GMYFS and Haviology both in the Teledad format tournament as well. GMYFS versus Haviology was actually the finals of that tournament, so kind of cool to see them both here. Maybe we'll get another GMYFS versus Haviology finals. That'd be kind of neat. But we're going to be diving in to the game. Wow, there's a lot of games going on today. Is there like a tournament going on besides this one? I don't actually know, but it looks like there might be. Or it's everyone's free on Sunday and playing DB. That is also an option. But let's see. Have the game started? Rated and Dumbtruck are still hosting there. So yeah, looks like those games have not started yet. But once we get into them, once we get into some good cat format gameplay, I'm sure that we'll have a grand old time. Because cat format, you know, it's known for its great gameplay. Great gameplay. It's going to be very fun. So also we got Spawny hosting for GMYFS. So we got all 3 games hosting. Whichever one goes first, we'll jump into. And yeah, it should be fun. So let's see who makes it in first. Honestly, this is the type of format that, like, if you're playing in a single day event, this is a really fun one to just jump into and play online, especially because you don't have to like, sink money into making a deck or sink money into like, travel fair and stuff like that. So I think this format is very quick, very fun, and sometimes you just want that in a format. So I think it's got its place in the Yu-Gi-Oh format canon, if you want to call it that. But have y'all played cat format before, or are y'all new to this one as well? Because I've never actually played this format. I just know like how the deck works, right? So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens here. When are the games starting? When are they diving in? Well, I managed to get in a match yesterday. How did it go? Did you like what you played, or were you like, oh my goodness, this is going to be a ride? Because sometimes you try one game and you're like, oh my word, what did I sign up for? I've definitely had that a bit in some of the formats that I've done in the videos where I played one game and I'm like, this is going to be a ride in the next couple of weeks I cover this. So, yeah, it is a bit crazy. Crazy or Karazi? Could there be a Karaz deck going around in this format? I don't know. Got to get Carpath on that one, Yeah. These games are not starting. Okay, looks like Dump Truck having computer trouble. GMYFS booting up. A Megahorn, no sign of, apparently. Yeah, so sorry for the slow start, everyone. Okay, looks like the Dump Truck game is going on. Let's dive into it. Where are they? Do they get put higher up in the thing here? Or do they just not host? What is going? I guess I can search. I can just dump. Yeah, there's not in. Okay. It's like these NecroArk pipe bomb memes as a Yu-Gi-Oh format. Yeah. Definitely feels like you're constructing that sometimes. But okay, it looks like Aratos and Spawny are hosting again. Okay, Dump Truck had to restart their computer real quick. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to get into these games quick. I mean, come on. Cat format, let's go. We want to see the cat do its stuff. We want to see Monk into cat into Dark Strike Fighter. Okay, Spawny and GMYFS hopefully will be starting here. Yeah, there we go. They're starting. We got our first game of the tournament. I'm excited to watch. I hope y'all are excited as well. We don't know what either of these duels are playing, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of cat mirror matches here because cat is the deck that everyone's playing, right? Not much exploration has been done into this format, so that's the deck that everyone's playing. Maybe there's something else better out there, but cat is just so powerful. I mean, oh my goodness, it is. And we were seeing from those test hands, like it felt like almost unbeatable. But sometimes decks that feel almost unbeatable have consistency issues, and that can lead to them being very impactful on the format as a whole, but maybe not the best deck in the format. So I actually made a discussion video about Stein in formats where he's around GX and talked about basically how, like, in a lot of those formats, people think that Stein is not necessarily the best deck in the room. It may be tier 1, but it's not necessarily the only thing that you could play. And, okay, we're seeing another deck here that might potentially contest Cat's place at the top. We're seeing Blackwings. Now, Blackwings is a little bit different here than you might remember it from, like, things like Edison format. Because in this format, you don't have Kalut. You don't have Blizzard, I believe. All you really have are Shura, Bora. Actually, do you have... you might have... I don't think you have Kalut. I think it's just the Crimson Crisis cards. You have Gale, though. Gale's running around. Yeah. Yeah, Vayu is not out. That's a big one. Oh, my voice just decided to die all of a sudden. So sorry about that. Yeah, you have 3 Whirlwind, which is kind of nuts. You also have, I think Gale is also not limited. Yeah, Gale is still running around at 3 copies as well, which is kind of wild. But, yeah. Do you have Kalut? Do you have Kalut? I need to check that real quick. Because Kalut really does change how the deck plays. I'm not sure. I think you have Sirocco as well. But do you have Kalut? Kalut. I'm searching it up on the format library thing. Okay, all are out except Vayu. Okay, so yeah, Kalut is out, so that is important to know about. Sirocco's out. Yep, you have the synchros like Armor Master and Armed Wing as well. So yeah, I remember when I went through puberty. It's a bit late. If I am going through puberty, then, you know, my body definitely picked a weird time to do it. But, you know, everyone's bodies work in different ways. So, yeah. There's some underwhelming Black Wings in Edison, but not in here. So, yeah. So, it seems like this deck is still very, very good. And speaking of another explosive aggro deck, I mean, Black Wings are a very explosive deck. You've got tons of special summons with Gale and Bora. I mean, we saw that turn 1 here. And that can be pretty good. Going for the Lila, popping the Whirlwind there. So it seems like this is potentially a Lightsworn deck again, as we saw in the previous event. Seems like they had a Necrogarden set, so that will help in the following turn, stopping the Shura from beating in here. But I'm not really sure what you do outside of this. It's kind of an awkward spot because the Armor Master can just hit into the Gores, put a wedge counter on it, and then the next turn, you can just attack over Gores. So that's awkward, but you have to use Necro on the Shura. You could mill another Necro, I guess, with the Lila, and that would potentially help you. But yeah, it's a tough spot to be in for sure. Yeah, Spawn is in a really tough spot. I mean, we still don't quite know what they're playing. They seem to be on Lightsworn. Yeah, and there's the Celestia, so that definitely indicates Lightsworn. Garoth as well. So they're in a Lightsworn deck, but yeah, Armor Master and Shura, they're two attacks that you don't want to go through, but it looks like they probably will be going through here. I mean, so the Armor Master's effect, like, activates on the following turn, right? So there is an argument for just necroing the Lila and hoping that you have an out to the Armor Master next turn. Alternatively, Geomyfest could just hit over one of the other things here with the Armor Master as opposed to hitting over the Gores, just fearing a Synchro or something. So this GMYFS guy plays too many formats. I think that, honestly, you can't play enough formats. You know, you got to play all the formats. Got to assemble all the Infinity Stones on your gauntlet, you know, for the formats of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what I'm trying to do, at least. So I'm happy to see GMYFS playing in all these formats as well. But Blizzard's going to bring back either the Gale or the Bora. They're thinking about exactly which one to do. Yeah, it is kind of tricky because with the Gale, you can potentially have the Gorge and just get over that normally. But if you just go for a level 6, you can go to like Goyo and then beat over the Gorge that way. Take control of the Gorge there. So I think, honestly, the Goyo play is probably, yeah. Because now you've given your opponent a really tough choice. Do you use Necro on the Shura or do you use Necro on the Goyo? So yeah, through sheer tyranny of will, I will become ubiquitous. Now, that's a very cool move. Going for Black. Okay, they've got the Kalut. Do you want to use up the Kalut on that, though? Or do you just want to attack over the Lila? I don't know how I feel about that one. I mean, yes, Gorge is annoying, but, like, I guess this does clear the board anyways. So, yeah. But, like, you've lost Kalut, which is so important. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would have done that, but I do get if you're trying to clear the board, it does make some sense. I mean, they've got Plague. They can stack and bring back for Plague, so that's a bit scary. But, like, you're not afraid of the Plague synchroing off with the Gores or the token because there just aren't any synchros they can make with that. So, I guess you might be afraid of another Celestia. If your opponent tributes over for Celestia and then goes for Plague, they can make, like, Black Rose wipe the board, and that would be very, very bad for you. So, I guess it makes sense in that regard. You also probably don't care as much about your Shura or your Gale here dying because, you know, you've got Armor Master, you've got Goyo. That's a big enough threat for you. Did they not? Oh, they couldn't hit over the Gores with the Goyo, so yeah, they couldn't take control of it. But yeah, this is a very scary spot for Spawn to be in. Now, the question is, does GMYFS have lethal through Dark Strike? Dark Strike is 7 plus 7, 6, so that is 20. So that's just 4,000 damage. It's not lethal here. It's slightly off of the 5,000 here. So, unless I'm doing my math wrong. But yeah, that shouldn't be lethal through Dark Strike. But it is always something that you have to consider. And Black Wings can make Dark Strike just like any other deck in the format can. So Dark Strike is going to be a menace here. And Spawny has to think about that. They got to think, like, okay, if I let them get too aggressive here, then they will just kill me with Dark Strike. And I can't allow that to happen. So they definitely have a very, very important turn here. This turn is really make or break, live or die. So we have to see what happens here. Very, very scary spot to be in. At least one Kalut is gone. So you don't have to worry about that. They are going for Plague indeed, stacking a card to the top of the deck, bringing out the Plague. Do they have a way to make use of this Plague beyond just like a Goya? Okay, they're going for Charge now. I think that's smart. Oh, and they put a Wolf back. That's very, very clever. The Necro Engrave also is very nice. Now they've got another attack block there. They get to add another Lightsworn to hand. So you can do like level modulation plays. Okay, it looks like they're going for Illumina here. They bring back the Wolf. They can potentially go into something with the Wolf if they want to, or they could go for Illumina. Yeah, Luxwarn. Hitting that Necro is really nice. It gives you a lot of flexibility here. They're going for a Re-Ink, probably bringing back the Celestia there, pitching another Dead Wolf. Classic Lightsworn, you know. They did get lucky with the mills, but they also opened like 2 Wolf. So, yeah, going for a Celestia here. You can pop the back row, go for Black Rose here, and that's really good. But a Solemn's coming down. So Solemn will negate the Celestia summon, and now you're in a bit of a tough spot because now you're kind of on a Plague and a Dream. I mean, I think they had to go for this anyways. If they've got Chaos Sork, they can go for that. I'm not sure if they're playing like a Twilight Sworn deck with the Lights and Darks there, but that is something they can do. They can go for Chaos Sork, potentially go into Colossal, but yeah, they're just going to scoop it up. They need that Celestia to go through. I think if that Celestia went through, they were in a really good spot, because they could go for Black Rose, wipe the board, and they've got the Necro to protect themselves further. So I do think that that was the right play to do. But, you know, it's just they couldn't get it there. So that is how it goes sometimes. Yeah, and no JD in hand, but GMY has had to Solemn that Celestia there either way. So, yeah. And they couldn't even do something like, you know, don't use the effect of Celestia because Solemn would have to negate the summon. So, yeah, you decide to use the effect on summon. So, yeah, rough stuff for Spawny here. But, I mean, that was a really, really intense game 1, showing Blackwings and Lightsworns as decks that can compete in this format. But again, you know, Cat Control is the way to go. Cat is the thing that everyone's playing. So, yeah, it's something that, you know, we'll definitely get on camera over the course of this tournament, unless no one's playing it. But that's that one. We could jump into Dump Truck versus Heavyology if we want, but I think this should probably go pretty quick. Double Wolf in the opening hand is very rough indeed, Hoy, but they actually managed to do pretty well with that Double Wolf there. They were able to do a really clever play with the Plague, stacking the Wolf to the top and then going for the charge, so that way they get the Wolf guaranteed. So they did make the most of the Double Wolf, but it definitely is a real rough spot for Lightsworn to be in. But that's Lightsworn, folks, you know. Lightsworn open in the Double Wolf. That's how it always goes, right? At least when I play the deck. So, yeah. Yeah, Double Wolf and Gardna too. Oh, that is rough. Yeah, rough stuff. But let's dive into the Heavyology versus Dump Truck game just to see if that one's going on, because I think both players are taking their time in siding there. I should just use the search function. Let's just search. Whoops, not Heavyology. There we go. There's that game. And Heavyology on Lightsworn again, but Dump Truck is on. Looks like the Cat Control deck there. Yeah, Plague Stack Wolf is a classic play indeed. Yeah. So I always just like when it goes off, because I don't think it was like an intended interaction that they put together when they put Wolf in. So it's just very neat to see. Speaking of Wolf in hand, Heavyology's got a Wolf in hand as well. I mean, that's what happens when you play 3 Wolves. Statistically, you are somewhat likely to draw it. But looks like this is probably the end of the game for Dump Truck. I mean, I don't really see... I mean, there are ways Dump Truck can come back from this. Like, if you can go for more Dark Strike Fighter plays, then there's stuff you can do. Like Summoner Monk plus, I mean, a spell just, I think, is the... Will that be lethal? Probably not entirely lethal. Let's see, you go for Dark Strike and Airbellum. That's 600 plus 1400, so 2000. And then you do have enough... No, you only have 2,000 more off that. So you don't quite have enough to deal lethal from that. But there are hands that do it here. Oh, Wolf getting milled off there, and a Plague as well for follow-up. Oh, Necros are engraved, so yeah, there's not really much the Dump Truck could do there. Oh, yeah. BrainCon on Judgment Dragon, use the effect is pretty good, but then they get back Judgment Dragon next turn, so they have to have a way to convert off that, because the Necros engrave will be able to stop a big OTK push. But I guess you go Dark Strike as well, and then... Okay, just going for Gale, have the Judgment is not going to do it, probably. Yeah, it's just kind of rough. They're going to attack the Gale into the Lumina, but will that eat a Necro Gardna? They're checking the grave, so they're seeing what could possibly happen here. I will say having the Judgment Dragon does protect against, like, next turn they use Judgment Dragon Defect and just wipe the board to attack him with Judgment Dragon. But yeah, okay, it looks like Dump Truck set in 2, passing back. This is very likely over because what you can do is you can just go for Judgment Dragon, wipe the board. You can even bring back Plague afterwards to get in a little bit extra damage to 1900. I think it just is the move to go for Judgment Dragon here. There's no Starlight Road out, I'm pretty sure. So that means you don't have to worry about that. And I think that just wiping the board is very good here. You could also just say, like, your back row is fake and just attack in. That is something as well. Threatening Roar is played in this format, so there is a risk to going for Judgment Dragon here. But it looks like, yeah, they're just going for the Judgment Dragon there. Yeah, Starlight Road came out in Edison. Okay, I was indeed correct about that. Yeah, going for the JD, and that's going to hit a TT and an MST there. And also wipe the board. So this might not be lethal. Oh, well, that is lethal. Yeah, so that's going to be the end of that game. Lightsworn putting up a good showing against the Cat control deck there. Let's dive in to GMYFS and Spawny here, see if they're on game 2. Yep, seems like they're on game 2, and it seems like Spawny this time had the aggressive push in the early game. Well, yeah, Crush Card is going to be pretty good there. Crush Card plus Necro. It looks like that was turn 3 on that. So it looks like GMYFS is out of the Crush Card range now, and that Light Imprisoning Mirror is going to make things a little bit tough for Spawny here. But yeah, this is a game getting very Yu-Gi-Oh'd. I mean, the one thing that could make it more Yu-Gi-Oh! Is if Spawny dropped Heavy Storm here. Heavy Storm would definitely be something. But I'm not really sure how much Lightsworns play Heavy Storm. I mean, it is very good. They probably play it. MST on the unknown, so that is, you know, the sign that they probably have a way to go through for a fair push here. They're going to go for Breaker here, pop the Light Imprisoning. So this means that they probably have, I don't really know. Well, they're probably just setting up for a later turn. They don't really care as much about Whirlwind. But there are some draws off the top that make that Whirlwind a bit scary. Looks like GMYFS is just going to set 3, pass back. So just saying, you know, you didn't have Heavy last turn. You don't have it this turn. Could be another Light Imprisoning Mirror back there as well. Let's see how many names are engraved. There are 4 names for JD. So they didn't have JD in hand last turn, though. But yeah, looks like GMYFS is going to draw here. They got a Thinker. Looks like they've got a Kalute. And now they can use Black Whirlwind to search out like a Blizzard. Blizzard's probably the search they're going for. Or, oh, Gale. Yeah, I forgot that Gale's at 3 in this format. Yeah, going for Gale, having the Breaker. And that will allow either of these to get over the Breaker. But it is opening themselves up for a bit of a scary situation on the following turn because they are very low. Yeah, bring birds in a format dominated by cats. Yeah, you'd think that wouldn't be the way to do it, but it seems like it's working out well for GMYFS here. Attacking over the Breaker with the Goyo here, using the Necro to stop that attack from going through. But I do think that was a fine play. You know about the Necro. I mean, I don't know. You could just go for Kalute, Blizzard, both attack in to guarantee you hit over the Breaker. But yeah, Lumina comes down here. Is Lumina going to use effect? Yeah, and it will indeed use the effect. Pitching 1, Light Imprisoning Mirror yet again coming down here. So that will stop the Lumina from getting something back. But again, you know, there is the Necrogardener here. Honest seems like it's going to be hidden in here. So GMYFS has to think about this. Think, okay, do I let the Honest hit in? And, I mean, Threatening Roar, yeah. It's a bit awkward with Threatening because, like, you could argue that, like, Spawn could just go to battle phase just to bait out Threatening and then go to main 2. Because if a monster attacks, you can't, like, use Threatening Roar in response to that and stop the attack, right? So, yeah, looks like a Bora coming down here. And it looks like Whirlwind is going to get probably Kalute to hand. I would assume Kalute. Could be another... Okay, another Gale's coming down. I mean, you can get around Honest this way, I will say, because if you special summon out Gale, have the Lumina, and then you go... like, I don't know, Gale attack over Lumina. They go Honest. You lose 5 from that, but Gale dies into 1800. Well, no, then it can still... Or no, it's at 1500. No, it's at 1800. It's at 1800. You can't hit over it with Bora, so you'd have to try hitting over it with Goyo, but they've got the Necrogardener, so you can't really get around that. So, yeah, it's a bit tricky here. I think you still have the Lumina, because it's just less damage you're taking off an Honest. So you want to have the Lumina either way. But then the question is, what do you do after that? Right? Do you go into Armor Master? Oh, BrainCon on the Lumina probably, I assume. Yeah. BrainCon on Lumina, so now you can go into a Synchro play here. You want to have the... No, have the Breaker first! Have the breaker. It doesn't matter, probably. But they're going to go into an armed wing here. And they're going to attack in. I mean, we got to think, will this 400 damage make a difference? It could. It could. Dark Strike fighter plays are important to know about. And maybe we'll make a difference. But yeah, Bora attacking in. And now Blackwing Armling attacking in. Getting them down to 2,000. If they had... Okay, I'm thinking here. If they had halved the breaker, would they have had a lethal line here with Dark Strike fighter? So if they do that, they probably keep the Lumina and the Bora out because that's slightly more damage, and also Necro Garden is there. So attack him with Goyo first, that gets Necroed. You attack him with Armed Wing next, that deals 1,900. Then you're getting in for 3,000, 4,000. So that's dealing 5,900 this turn. And this turn, they lost... What did they lose? They lost 6,000? Yes, they lost 6,000 this turn. So you're getting into the same space, but then Dark Strike Fighter closed out the game by tripping off. So yeah, I think Dark Strike Fighter actually, I think there was a missed lethal line here. You don't know the back row, that is fair. So the back row could be something that stops that. But if the back row is nothing, that is a lethal line. And unfortunately, we're reconnecting. Let's just refresh here, see if that helps. But yeah, I think there was a lethal line with Dark Strike Fighter. Let me know if I'm wrong, chat. If I'm wrong, then that's on me. But already logged into a dual server elsewhere. Oh no. I hate when that glitch happens. But okay, let's dive back in to that GMYFS game. Okay, they're bringing out an Honest here. Yeah, DB crashing. Yeah. And this will be lethal if it goes through. So yeah, I think they should have gone for the Dark Strike fighter play. I think they had a potential lethal line. I mean, it's tough to see that, for sure. Like, yeah, it's very tough to see that, but I mean, I think you got to do it. Icarus attack coming through here, hitting the Honest and the Set. My Body the Shield getting chained, though, and they do have just enough life points to do that. Yeah. Yeah, and that will be the end of the game. Yeah, I mean, this is basically, yeah, damage step. You go for Honest, and that's it. So yeah, I think they missed lethal there. It's unfortunate. It happens in these games. And again, I always say it's much easier to commentate than to play in these events because, like, in the moment, it's tough to see that sort of thing. And also, we're just saying, like, screw the back row. Who cares about it? But like, if you're GMYFS in this position, you've got an Icarus attack set up. You're like, okay, I have this to defend myself. So if I go for the safer play this turn, it should be fine. If they set something, I've got the Armed Wing. They clearly don't have many light monsters because they brought Lumina instead of something that would threaten lethal through Honest. So I do think that this was a fine play on GMYFS's part. It's just that I might have gone for the lethal line given how low they were. But, whoopsies. I'm getting a phone call. Okay, shut that off. But, yeah. So, tricky game for sure. Let's dive into the other match we got going on here. Dump Truck versus, not Dual Note. I want to search that. So, Dump Truck versus Haviology. Is that game still going on? It looks like it is. So, let's dive into that one. Light Imprisoning Mirror. Yep, we see it yet again. Okay, Solemn coming down here. Now, is that on the Light Imp or is it on the Air Bell? Okay, it's on the Light Imp. Yeah, I think that makes sense. You got to Solemn that so that way, your plays go through here. But yeah, and they are milling here. Yeah, tricky stuff. It seems like an Iron Chain Dragon was gone into. How was that banished? Bottomless. That's how it was banished. There we go. So, yeah, what will Dump Truck do here now? Haviology is threatening Honest, but even if they don't have Honest, they've got Necro. So you've got to get through that Necro sometime soon. You can also go into Android in a moment's notice. So you got to get aggressive here. You just got to play into stuff. That's the nature of this format, I think. You just got to go in. And Dark Panther coming down. I mean, not really much point to, targeting Lumina, but this is another body. You can crash in, I guess. And if they do have Honest, then you're not wasting an Airbellum. So I think this makes sense. I like this play. And yeah, that will go through. So now the Necro will probably be used up on the Airbellum attack. So, yeah. So I like this play. I think it's a clever play on Dump Truck's part. And will that deck go through? I feel like Haviology has to use Necro on this because you're dropping down to 800. You want things live. I mean, BrainCon's already engraved, so you don't have that. But, like, if you've got another thing that costs 8, like Royal... Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if they'd play Royal Oppression, but if your opponent flips Royal Oppression on you, you want to be able to pay for it. So, yeah, I think the Necro there is good. Also, you don't lose the last card in hand, so... Yeah, that Air Bellum looks like it's carrying a bit here. Not gonna lie. Going for Beckoning. Beckoning's really good. You can get back probably just Lumina Celestia, maybe? I guess it depends on the hand. But, oh, Wolf, rip. But yeah, probably just Lumina. I mean, you could even do double Lumina. Doesn't really matter. But Lumina Celestia, I guess, played around Mind Crush a bit better. But if they've got Mind Crush, they probably win anyways. So, yeah. Doesn't really matter here because your move here is just summon out Lumina, probably pitch to get, like, Wolf. Or you could stack for Plague, go for Android. That might be a bit safer if you do Lumina stack for Plague. No, you can't do that. It's just light monsters. So, yeah. Yeah, but I think it's probably Lumina. I think Lumina makes sense. Because Celestia, you don't really have a line to getting to. I guess there is a line, so you could do Lumina Celestia, stack the Lumina, and then tribute over for Plague. Like, you stack one, bring out Plague, tribute over it, Lumina, or Celestia try and pop their board, and then get in for damage. That is a line you could do. That might be the better line, honestly. But I guess they've got Light Imp either way, but, like, this way, if they've got Light Imp, you know, you can still hit over the Air Bellum. Honestly, I think the move was not to use Lumina at all. You either do the Celestia play with Plague, or you go for Plague into Android, and then hit over the Air Bellum. Because now you're just dead. I mean, you might have been dead either way here, because you do Rescue Cat, go into, like, Air Bellum Raikou if the other Air Bellum has been cleared already. But, yeah, I mean, this is just Giga dead. But yeah. Oh, need to tribute a Lightsworn for Celestia's effect. Okay, so you can't use Celestia's effect there. So that is good to know about. Thanks, Aratos. So yeah, I think the Plague plus Lumina combo would have been best for Android. So, but it looks like that one will go to Dump Truck. Let's dive into GMYFS versus Spawny. See how that one's going. Well, I think we see how this one's going. I mean, yeah, that is a formidable board. Yeah, not sure what Spawny can really do here. I mean, JD is not online. I think JD is semi'd in this format. Let me check if that's correct. Judgment Dragon is semi'd. Yeah, so there is another Judgment Dragon running around. But yeah, this is not looking good for Spawny here. I mean, if GeoMyVest has Sirocco in hand, they tribute over for Sirocco, buff up the Bora, and then that's like threatening lethal. I mean, how many Necros are... No Necros in Grave. Going for Icarus here. So just tributing over the Bora to pop 2. I don't know about tributing over the Bora. I feel like you want to probably tribute over Shura there. But yeah, that's just the end of the game, yeah. They're submitting defeat. Because, yeah, I mean, not much you can really do there. So, yeah, good stuff. I guess the defensive monster was getting killed anyways, so. Anyways, let's dive back into the Dump Truck versus... Haviology game. So it seems like people brought Lightsworns. Kind of interesting. I wouldn't expect this amount people on Lightsworns. I'm curious because we haven't seen Aratos play. Megahorn did not show up, unfortunately. We also haven't seen Hoy play, so we don't know exactly what they're on. So they could be on cats, they could be on not cats. We'll have to watch and find out. But it looks like both players have a little bit of a slow start here. You know, Haviology T setting, Dump Truck, you know, L setting. Raikou coming down, hitting one of the back row. Dummer's got to decide whether to flip that up or not. And the mill will go through. Okay, Solemn coming down. You're not Solomon or Raikou, I don't think. You don't want to go down that low. I mean, you could potentially if you're afraid of the mills, but, like, I don't think you Solomon or Raikou. Does depend on the other back row, though, because they get Celestia like that. You can get blown out a little bit. So, there's an argument to Solomon the Raikou, but I don't know. It really does depend on the other back row. Oh, Crush card. Oh, yeah. Well, that explains why you don't Solemn the Raikou. So, yeah, going for a Crush card here. Tributing, wiping away those Celestias and the Wolf. And also getting a peek at that hand. Ooh, that's rough. That is rough for Haviology. They've already normal, so they can't bring out, like, a Lumina or something this turn. Hitting a Garroth and a Wolf. I mean, the Wolf isn't really doing anything, but Okay, I mean, that is a very, very good turn for Dump Truck there. Plague and Braincon are left. I mean, that's a bit scary because negative the threat, if you ever bring out a monster, they just Braincon it, bring out Plague, and, sync off. But, I mean, if you get Cat, they've only got one Necrogardna in Grave, so if you got a way to get into Cat, you just go into Cat, bring out two X-Sabers, and then you're guaranteed to hit one of the Plague or the Braincon if they don't have a backer that stops it. And also, that does play around the Braincon as well. Wolf was summoned off Raikou. Wolf was not summoned off Celestia. So, I don't know why it would stay around. So, yeah, Wolf was summoned off Raikou. The chain does not matter there because the only chain that happened was Celestia milled, let's see, Raikou milled, Reborn, Necro, Wolf. Celestia milled, no, Celestia Mill did not bring out the Wolf. Yeah, Celestia didn't mill Wolf, so I mean, unless I'm like having a brain fart here, like Celestia did not mill Wolf, like Raikou milled Wolf, because they went Raikou, mill Wolf. I remember that distinctly because once Wolf was in the grave, it was very clear that you could not activate Solemn because that is just knowing the mill's there. So you definitely do not get, like, this other Wolf in grave came from hand. That was in hand. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, Celestia did not mill Wolf. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no problem. I'm here to make sure the games go as planned, make sure that they don't have any rules issues. But yeah. Celestia did not mill Wolf. So I thought I was tripping for a second, but yeah. So unfortunately, Aviology doesn't really have a play there, so they're just going to pass back to Dump Truck. And now Dump Truck can potentially go for a really big push here. If they've got Monk, they can do stuff with that. If they don't have Monk, they can still go for, Cat. There's Cat. That's what I said. They got Cat. They can go for the Airbellums. And also, the Braincon, this plays around Braincon, even if they've got something like Threatening Roar or something, because the Airbellums will go to grave at the end of the turn. So, going for one Airbellum, do they have the other? I assume they have another in deck. Like, yeah, there's the other Airbellum. Going for Bottomless. Bottomless will banish both. That is very good there. But, again, you're playing around the Braincon play. So, yeah, it's pretty good here for you. Now, really does depend on what they draw. If they draw like Lumina, then that's really bad for you. Okay, it looks like a Necrogardna was drawn. Okay, Necro will complicate things a bit. If you want to do another thing, like a Rescue Cat play or an Explosive play, that's going to be a second Necro in grave. Yeah, just bring out the Necro attacking in. I think that's fine. You might have wanted to set it, but like I think summoning is fine. Getting in for some chip damage, and realistically the damage you take off this probably won't matter. You got another Necro in grave, and once that's attacked over, you should be fine. Bring out the Mystic Tomato there, attacking over the Necro. Again, this is a bit awkward because you know about the Braincon and the Plague, so you know that they can go for a Synchro play next turn. But because you know about this, I assume that Dump Truck does have something here to either stop that or make that less bad. So, looks like they've got MST now, so MST will be able to stop the set. And that is very rough for Dump Truck. If you're Dump Truck, you probably did not want to see MST off the top here. So, yeah, MST going for that back row. What's it going to be? It's going to be a book. Okay, so you wanted to have that be used once the Braincon was activated, but that does still dodge around the Braincon Plague. So, it's not terrible here. You just got to be careful on the follow-up play. Yeah, and you also know about the double Necro in grave, so that makes things awkward for any, big pushes you want to make, but you got to burn through the Necros at some point, so it's definitely a very awkward spot to be in. They're checking the Archer deck, so if they've got lines to Thought Ruler, Thought Ruler would prevent the Braincon from really doing anything there. But it looks like they're going to go for Airbellum here as well, and it looks like Tomato's attacking in. Will Javiology let that Tomato attack go through? They will let the Tomato attack go through. They're probably not letting the Airbellum attack go through. I'll tell you that much. Because they don't want to lose one of their powerful cards in hand. Main 2, they're just passing back. Okay. This is, I'm not sure I would have done this. I don't know. Maybe they've got something in hand to stop this, but now Haviology goes for Goyo and then takes control of the Airbellum, and now you're like in a really rough spot. Yeah, I don't know how much I like that. I don't know how much I like that. But we'll have to see exactly what happens here. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, not looking good for Dump Truck here. I will be honest. That bottomless on the Airbellums was really big. Haviology's got a big thing here, and I don't blame them because you've got a lot of different options with Plague. You can go Plague Braincon the Tomato. Honestly, and this might sound weird, if I was Dump Truck, what I would have done, or I don't know, I'm not sure if I would have thought of this in a moment, but what I probably would have done, kept the Tomato set, summon out the Airbellum, attack in for 16. If they Braincon the Airbellum, they can't make a Synchro because, you know, well, they could make a Synchro if they got a non-tuner in hand, but you can't make that Synchro with Plague. But now they get to make Goyo, which is one of the strongest Synchros in the game. And yeah, I don't know. I think there were different plays that Dump Truck could have done, but we don't know what the crackback is for Dump Truck here. So going for Synchro Summon here of a level 6. Do you go for Iron Chain or Goyo? I feel like you go for Goyo. Yeah, going for Goyo. You take control of the Airbellum. You got a level 3 tuner for follow-up plays later. And yeah, they're going to just attack into the Airbellum. That's going to go through, and they'll take the Airbellum in defense. That's threatening a discard on the following turn if you can't clear this board. Haviology could also go for a Stardust play here as follow-up, you know, stacking the last card in hand to top a deck, going for Plague, you know, using Goyo to go into Stardust. There's a couple different options that they've got here, and yeah, it's a bit tricky. Yeah, they got to think about whether you go for Thought Ruler or Stardust here, or whether you just leave the Goyo up on field all alone. I mean, you've got another Necro Gardener in Grave, so I don't think that you really care too much about, you know, them like taking Goyo with something like, you know, Braincon or something like that. But it definitely is tricky. They're checking the graveyard over here. 2 Darks in Grave. Not a 3rd Dark, so you can't bring out Dad yet if Dad is in the hand. But yeah, I don't know. I just yeah, Dump Truck's gotta have something good in hand, or else they wouldn't have opened themselves up to this play, I think, right? Or maybe they wanted to bluff if they had something good in hand. Okay, looks like they are indeed going to stack for Plague. And okay, Crow coming down for the Plague. So that's 1 card out of hand. And that does stop like a Stardust or Thought Ruler play. What level 9? Yeah, okay. What? What's going on here? But no, the DD Crow went for Plague. That's why the DD Crow was pitched. Yeah, they didn't just randomly discard DD Crow. DD Crow went for Plague, banished that in response to the effect. So Goyo is still on field. Yeah. Like, they pitched the DD Crow at the right time. This is just a miscommunication issue. Like, yeah, sometimes, I mean, if you just pitch it, sometimes it doesn't make noise. So that does happen occasionally. But no big deal. It looks like they're getting the Goyo back on field there. And now, again, like, this is a tough spot for Dump Truck to be in. I don't really know how you profitably clear the Goyo. Cyber Valley, I mean, that's something that buys you a turn, gets you a draw. I don't know. It's just kind of awkward, right? Like, then you got a way to clear Cyber Valley. Then, like, Airbellum rips a card out of your hand. So, going for Lila here. I mean, Lila gets the mills going, so you want to see that. 2 Wolves in Grave, 2 Necro Gardenas used up as well. So, yeah, it's a bit interesting. They're checking their extra deck. Can they go for a 7? I don't know what 7 they'd want to go for. Dark Strike Fighter, maybe? Maybe you go for Dark Strike Fighter, but, like, what is that realistically doing for you? I don't know what 7 they'd go in for here. Arcanite. You go Arcanite. Arcanite would do it. Yeah, you bring out Arcanite, you pop the Valley, and then get in for 4,200. That'd be probably the best play. So yeah, if they go for an Arcanite play, that's really good. I feel like that's the best play they've got available to them right now. It is a bit risky because the Arcanite can be taken control of, and then pop the Goyo, but you're still getting in for a ton of damage, and you're putting Dump Truck in a really rough spot. So yeah, there's the Arcanite. and that will pop the Valley, and then you're feeling good. I mean, you also don't have to pop the Valley, but like realistically, why would you not, right? Yeah, going for Arcanite, popping that Valley, getting in for 4,200 here, and that is brutal. I mean, Gorz does exist in this format, so I wouldn't attack with Goyo first, but okay, it looks like they're attacking in for 14 plus 28. If they brought out Gorz, you could just pop the token with the Arcanite, so wouldn't really matter there. But yeah, Dad would be pretty good here because there are 3 Darks in Grave. I mean, Dad would be crazy. Is Dad coming home? Looks like not. So there's 7-1, and that should be the end of the game, unless it's exactly Necrogardna, because right now, Arcanite just popped the set. Goyo gets in for 28, and that's the end of the game. So, yeah, I feel like Dump Truck could have played this differently. Like, as I mentioned, they didn't have to flip up the tomato, and that would have been very good. But, you know, it is what it is. So that's how the games go sometimes, and very, very good playing from both players. I mean, we saw Javiology play through a Resolve Crush card, which is kind of wild. So let's see. Have we got... What other games are going on? Okay, looks like we probably have Aratos versus... Okay, no Aratos yet. Do we have Hoy versus... Okay, we do have Hoy versus GeoMyFS. So let's dive into this one. It looks like GeoMyFS won the first game here. Well, let's see. Will they be able to win the second, or will Hoy be able to come back? So, okay. Oh, Aratos faces the winner of Dump Truck versus Javiology. Okay. That makes sense. And it looks like GeoMyFS is going second here because, you know, they won game 1. Hoy just going to open with a set 3 pass. Alert of Darkness drawn 2, banishing 1. Or discarding the entire hand, but I feel like you wouldn't go for this unless you have a Dark, and Blackwings have no shortages of Darks in hand. They probably have to think about which one exactly they go for here. And it's a bit of a tricky spot in this format in particular, because you got to think about the Blackwings a bit differently. I mean, Gale's at 3, so, you know, you can be more comfortable banishing Gales, but banishing a Shura instead, do they have a follow-up Shura in hand, or was that their only one? Going for an MST on the back row closest to deck, it's a Foolish Burial. Interesting. So that's a bit of a bluff. Hoy gets a bit punished for doing that because Foolish is such a strong card. But we don't know what deck Hoy is on. They could be on Lightsworn as well. Lightsworns love Foolish Burial, but a lot of decks love Foolish Burial in this format, so unclear at this point. But GeoMyFS has to think here. It looks like they're just interesting. Going for an MST and not going for a super aggressive play. Okay, maybe they're just playing around Morphing Jar because they saw the Foolish. But yeah, unfortunately, they did the 50-50 wrong, and that Bottomless is going to come in, hit into the Shura. And is that set a Morphing Jar? That's the question. Oh, heavy. Oh, that is rough. Hitting a Solomon and Icarus. Yeah, I think you just let those go. I think that's fine. But yeah, now Hoy's in a really, really good spot here. Yeah, so it looks like Hoy's probably going to be taking game 2, I assume. Yeah, they're checking their extra deck. They're planning out their play here. Of course, losing the Foolish, definitely rough, but Foolish would probably debate out like a heavy. So, yeah. Or to bait out GeoMyFS into setting more to go for heavy, right? Because they figured that the bottoms would be used up. Okay, looks like an Airbellum coming down, so it seems like Hoy might be on Cat as well. Hidden in for 16, ripping a card out of the hand. I mean, this is just brutal stuff. Hoy's at 4 cards to GeoMyFS's 1. Pitching a Gale. Gale's a really good card to hit. Gale can single-handedly clear the Airbellum, so you want that gone. And now GeoMyFS is in a tough spot, but Whirlwind can get them back into it potentially. Going for a Kalut, you can search out another Gale because Gale is unlimited in this format. Search out that Gale, special summon it out, have the Airbellum, or not have the Airbellum. You gotta have the Airbellum. That would be 2,000 instead of 1,200. It might not matter in the end. But yeah, they take control of the Airbellum here. And now you've got follow-up synchro plays potentially for later. So yeah, this is GeoMyFS turning the game around a little bit. It's 3-3 now in terms of cards. And that's the power of a Black Whirlwind, especially in this format. Black Whirlwind is nuts, especially when you got triple Gale access, because basically any Blackwing turns into a synchro, like immediately. And that is broken. So what is Hoy going to do here? Hoy's checking their extra deck, so they're looking for options. They probably have some options here. If they've got a Goy of their own, that's not terrible. Yeah, they gotta think about exactly what to do here. They are thinking. They're thonking. They're doing a major think, major thunk. What could they be thinking about? What is that set? What do we think the set is? I don't think it's Morphing Jar if this is a cat deck, for sure. And with the Airbellum there, it might be a cat deck. Could be pure X Cybers, but there isn't really much you can do with that yet. So I feel like it's just a cat deck. Could be a monk. Could be a summoner monk. It's a dandy. Okay, dandy, very interesting. Going for debris. Okay. Okay. This is interesting. You don't have the materials for like Drill Warrior. Or you do have Drill Warrior online, right? Because that was Crossroad. Or no, I'm thinking of Turbo Warrior. I don't actually know when Drill Warrior came out. But this might be a Drill Warrior deck. I don't think Quick Draw is out. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't think Quick Draw is out. Could just be like a plant cat build because people have made plant cat builds in the past. Drawing into the Blizzard. I mean, Blizzard is very good here. You go immediately into an Armwing. Oh, there's no 4 engrave. Okay, so you have to go into like Android here instead. So a bit awkward. Armwing would obviously be cracked here, but Brionac is not legal here, Hellfire. That's a very, very good question. Unfortunately, Brionac, or fortunately, depending on who you ask, Brionac is not legal. So the main 6 you're going into is going to be Goyo. Occasionally you go into Iron Shade. And if you're Blackwings, you can even go into Armed Wing. And Armed Wing would have been pretty good there. But I don't think that gaining 6 is that bad if you're GeoMyFS. So, yeah. Hoi checking their graveyard, seeing exactly what they got there. Debris, very interesting card. I mean, we see it a lot in Edison for a variety of decks. And seeing some play here. Going for the Lone Fire here. Now you can either tribute itself or tribute the token. Bring out a plant tuner from deck. Okay, there are a couple from Crossroads of Chaos. But it looks like they're just going to tribute itself. Bring out another Lone Fire. Deck thinning a little bit here. Tributing itself. Bring out another Lone Fire. And now do they tribute off the token or do they tribute off the Blossom itself? They're going to go for the Lone Fire, tributing off the token this time and going for a Titanial. Titanial's out. Okay. That is another powerful card in this deck's arsenal. And now GeoMyFS is in top deck mode against a Titanial, which is a bit tricky. Now, Titanial only works with cards on field. That does stop Gale. Doesn't stop something like Blizzard, though. But I'm not really sure what Blizzard would go into here profitably. So, yeah, a bit tricky. Going for a cat as well, and that should probably be the end of the game. Yeah, and that Hoi just, or not Hoi, GeoMyFS is just going to scoop it up because not much you can do against that. Rescue Cat into double Airbellum or even Airbellum plus Raikou is very, very good. So, yeah, cool to see a different build on the cat control deck. Let's dive in to Aratos versus... I keep doing it in the dual notes. Why do I do it in the dual notes? Aratos versus Haviology. See what's going on here. Looks like Dad's been used up. Judgment Dragon's been used up. Wow, a lot's going on. Celestia's been used up, met with a bottomless. So it seems like Aratos is on Blackwings as well. Very, very cool stuff here. Yeah, no Necros in Grave. So yeah, any Blackwing at the top does it, and that will do it. So even if the Necro had been summoned out, sure over that would have killed. So we got another Blackwings versus Light Swarm matchup there. Classic matchup. But let's dive into the Hoi versus GeoMyFS matchup if that's done siding, and it looks like it's done siding. And GeoMyFS opened up Whirlwind plus Shura. That is about as good as it gets. I mean, you could go for the Gale combo here, but honestly, Kalut is probably the better option, I assume, just making it more difficult for Hoi to beat over that Shura. Also, if you go for Kalut, you get an instant level 6 next turn because you summon out Kalut, bring out the Gale, and then you've got a level 6. So you've got Goyo, you've got Armed Wing, you've got a variety of things. So it looks like they're going for Gale here. That to me says that they already have Kalut in hand. But yeah, outside of cat format, when is the Reaper format video coming? Tomorrow or the next day? So it's coming this week, but it probably won't be tomorrow or the next day because I've still got the Dragon video for Cyber format to release. I've still got the sort of tier list for Cyber. I've got Degenerate deck video for Cyber format to release. So that's 3 videos already. I'm going to do a Flaming Eternity video as well. And then the Guide to Reaper format should come at the end of the week. So it will be coming this week, but it will probably come at the end of the week. So it's just good to keep that in mind. But Reaper is on the horizon. Don't you worry about that. I'm excited for Reaper format. It should be fun. But we got the Lone Fire cycling going through, and it looks like they're going to bring out a Titanial here. So, but yeah, I'm very excited for Reaper. Bottomless getting used there. Bottomless did not target, so you can't use Titanial to stop it. And now it looks like Hoi's just set 1 passing. Tough spot for Hoi to be in here for sure. They also don't have Lone Fire top decks anymore. Maybe that's an argument to keep the Lone Fires in deck. But yeah, going for a Gale, so you pick up a Blizzard for follow-up plays there. And now getting in for 4,100. Yeah, and that will indeed go through here. Hoy has to have some sort of follow-up play here, or else they're in a bit of a tough spot for sure. GMY is just going for a 7, going for Armor Master, I assume. That would be my guess for what they're going into here. One of the other nice things about Blackwings as a deck is that they've got so much flexibility in terms of the synchros they go into. Did they? Oh, yeah, you can't add Blizzard because they both had 13. So yeah. Very, very good catch. I didn't catch that. I thought Blizzard had 12. But I was wrong. And yeah, so you can't add Blizzard off that. Going for an Armor Master here. One of the nice things about Blackwings is that they've got so much extra deck flexibility. Other decks sort of struggle with having multiple synchros to go into at a given level. Blackwings do not, because they've got these, synchros unique to them, right? Other decks could play Gale. That's something that they could play, but Gale being able to special summon out in Blackwings is just so, so good. So yeah, Black Whirlwind putting in a lot of work in this format for sure. But sitting on Armor Master, a bit tricky. Armor Master also deals with Titanial, I believe, because it doesn't target either, I think. It just, places the wedge counter naturally. Going for an Allure of Darkness here, drawn to banishing 1 from hand. They likely do have a dark in hand already for that, but Allure, another tool that Blackwings have that a lot of other decks don't. So there's just so much good stuff in this Blackwing deck. Tributing over the Armor Master for a Sirocco. They probably have a Bora here trying to go for a lot of damage. You also do get to search here, so if you don't have the Bora, you can special summon the Bora now. And yeah, this is going to be rough. If you've also got Gale, then you can buff up that. Going for Reborn here, probably target the Armor Master. Yeah, this is just buffing up that Bora to insane heights. And yeah, this is probably just going to be the end of the game, I assume, because that's 37 plus 25. So that's 5,200. Yeah, 5,200. And you're attacking into a set. If it's Dandelion, Hoy is dead. If it's not, then you're still dealing with a ton of damage there. If you've got Kalut, then that can make it dead. So yeah, it's not looking good for Hoy. And so yeah, it's at 5,200. Yeah, can't add Blizzard with Gale. Very, very good point. Start battle phase, Threatening Roar coming down. So, that will stop that from going through. So, very, very good Threatening Roar there. But, GMY Vez has 2 more back row, and that makes things a little bit awkward. Oh, Deck Devastation Virus. Oh, dude. Oh, that is wild. Yep, that is gonna be rough. That is, yeah. Oh, yeah, it adds the 17 as well from, yeah. No, Accept Itself. It doesn't gain the 17. But yeah, Deck Devi, that's going to deal with the Raikou. Going to deal with a Dandelion as well, but Dandelion does get 2 tokens out. Deal with Debris, and Cat. Oh, this is just brutal. That Deck Devastation Virus is doing the most. You do have Minecon plus Airbellum, so that is something. You also have 2 tokens here from the Dandelion. Did the Dandy tokens not come out? Okay, yeah, Dandy is coming out, yeah. Because, that happens on a new chain, so you have that. What you probably want to do here, they're thinking, I think you want to do Minecon first. It is awkward. No, you probably want to do Minecon after. So, yeah, I mean, I think the move is just summon out Airbellum, Minecon, either the Bora or the Sirocco. Debatable which one you want to do. If you go for Bora, you can do a 7, but that is not immune to like Icarus attack. But they've only got the Blackwing up, or the Sirocco up at that point. So if it's Icarus attack, they're doing it at an intermediate point in your combo anyways. So I think what you want to do here either way is, yeah, it doesn't really matter, because if you play around the Icarus by like not summoning Airbellum before going for Minecon on Bora, they just wait until you summon Airbellum, and then they go for Icarus attack, tribute things that are not Bora, right? So it doesn't really matter the order in which you do this. But it looks like they're going to go for a synchro play here. Are they going for a 7? They're going for Black Rose. Oh, but that's going to get met with an Impression. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Oppression is pretty brutal from this position, because one of the ways you're getting out of this is through special summons. And with that Oppression up, you can't do that. So, yeah, not looking good. Not looking good for Hoy here, indeed. All GMYFS needs is a Bora, or a way to Bora, like a Shura. and that's going to be rough. Foolish could help, maybe. What are you sending out Foolish? What can get you out of this? Plague doesn't get you out of this. I mean, I think you probably do Foolish here anyways. You probably Foolish just to deck then, honestly, at this point. But yeah, that is rough. That is rough. I don't know how you're getting out of this. Yeah, Foolish going through. Maybe sending Titanial just to get Engrave in case you've got Reborn. They've already used Reborn, so you don't have to worry about that. Ugh. Oh, that is rough. That is rough. Yeah, and this is like before Tengu Plant stuff, so you don't have like Glow Bulb or anything like that. And even if you did, Oppression stops that. So sending a Monk, I think Monk is fine. That gets hit by deck dev, so like sending that is probably good. They're just going to attack in with the Sirocco there, hitting over the token, and then pass back to Hoy. So it looks like they're not getting the most Blackwings here. Okay. That gets them out of this. Okay. So you summon out Sirocco, use its effect to gain the attack of your opponent's Sirocco, and then you attack in for 4,000. GeoMyVets need double Kalut to withstand that attack, but if they don't have that, then this is getting through. So yeah, that was probably the best draw that Hoy could have gone there. Yeah, dealing 2,000. Now, the issue is if GeoMyVS has another Sirocco in hand, they just do the exact same thing, but they also have Whirlwind to get out, like, Gale, to get out Bora, to get out a variety of things. I mean, you do have the Oppression up, so, like, might not be the best thing in the world, but, like, oh, okay. GeoMyVS just setting. Okay, Hoy could be back in this. DDDV is shut off. Whoa, this is getting intense. I'm not going to lie. Sirocco attacking in for 2,000. That's just beating in every turn. Oh. This is wild. Just passing, though, so unclear what that card in hand is. Yeah, going for a Shura here. Shura will be able to add Gale to hand, so Gale have the Sirocco. Shura attack in, and that's rough. Is Hoy playing Kalutes? That is the question. If they're playing Kalutes, then hats off to them. They deserve the win. If they're not, then this could be rough. I mean, Hoy can also negate the Gale summon with the Oppression, but you could just do... Okay, going for Kalut here. Kalut's probably the right choice. Bring Con on the Sirocco. Oh, that is the end of the game. That is the end of the game, unless Hoy has something here. But, yeah, you just use Sirocco's effect, buff up the Shura, attack in, and then you Kalut. Oh, or you just attack in for 2 of them? I mean, what's the issue here? What is, yeah. Going for Sirocco on Shura, I think, is just better. I mean, you can't use Oppression in damage step, so, like, if Gore's in hand, then you need to do it this way. So, yeah, I think that is smart, and it looks like damage, the Kalut is coming down, and, yeah, that will indeed deal the final blow. So, that was wild. That was a wild game. I mean, it seemed like Hoy was back in it for a bit. Oh, yeah, and they had the deck dev, anyways, tribute off the Sirocco. Yeah, Mind Crush in hand, so that doesn't do anything, so better to keep it there. But you can't activate Mind Crush if you don't have cards in hand. So, yeah, very, very good stuff there. Whew! That was intense. Okay, it's the Aratos versus Haviology game still going on. Looks like it is, so it's 1-1 right now. Both players playing. So we only had 2 people on the Cat deck. And Cat has been fallen to the Blackwing and Lightsworn Menaces here. So very interesting stuff. You know, maybe this format is not as sort of dominated by Cat as people like to think. Unclear at this point, though. We'll have to see. But we are blazing through this thing. If we go over to the challenge just to get a peek at what's going on here, we're already almost in winners finals. So it looks like Hoy versus Dump Truck's going on as well. And then Spawny will face the loser of Aratos versus Haviology. It's dominated by Atrocity. So that is very true, Hoy. Yeah, this is definitely a wild format. Not for everyone. Not for the weak of heart, for sure. So very tricky stuff here. Let's see. How are we doing this one? Aratos going first here. So Haviology won the second game. And again, as we've seen, Blackwings can just dominate going first. They open Whirlwind, and that is just insane. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Blizzard ad mattered. You caught it early enough, so it's fine. I didn't realize that you couldn't add Blizzard either, so it's all good. Bora just coming down here, setting 2, setting 3, passing back, so could be a Kalutin hand, so a bit tricky. Yeah. Yeah, would have gotten Bora with first Whirlwind, and then Bora would have gotten Gale. Yeah, I think that's also fine. Yeah, it was definitely harder. It almost seemed like you almost lost that game with the just Sirocco just hidden in against you. Like, that was wild. So congrats to Hoy for getting that out there, but definitely a very tricky one. Going for charge, not milling anything really good. I mean, you get a name engrave with Garoth, but like, what are you really doing here? And charge is going to add back an Arcus. So Arcus is okay. That does wall up against Bora, but you have to be worried about like Kalut. You know, honestly, it might be better to do like Raikou, right? You do take a ton of damage, but you're not dead, and you do get to pop something. And also, you don't want to play into things like Icarus. I mean, if you just normal summon Arcus, that plays around Icarus because you can't target the Arcus. It also telegraphs like Honest in hand, so that's something. But I don't know, it's just like a bit awkward. Okay, they're going to go for Lumina there. Lumina pitch, bring back Garoth maybe? Or maybe they're just going to bring back the Arcus. Light Imp is going to stop whatever they want to do though. So that's just how it goes, you know. Light Imp against Lightsworn is really good. So yeah, I'm not really sure how Javiology is going to get out of this one. Charge again. Okay, hoping for some good mills there. Let's see what they mill. And they just mill nothing. They mill hot nothing. Yeah, that is rough. You want to mill those Necros or things like that. Even Wolves are fine to mill here. They don't activate, but like they do get them out of deck, so you're not drawing them later. Or even more names. More Lightsworn names would also be good for your Judgment Dragon. But grabbing another Arcus. Again, that walls up against the Bora, so that's something. Yeah, do you want to play against Lightsworn or Blackwing next? That is the choice. That's what you'll see. You know, I know that everyone loves the Blackwing mirror match. So, you know, that is that's a fun and interactive match to play, especially with Triple Gale. I mean, that's just going to be so much fun. So, you know, if it is Blackwing mirror, you know, that's going to be a great time. Yeah, and Lightsworn's just been Lightsworn. I mean, I don't know, people have been bringing Lightsworn left and right for some reason. I mean, it is very good. But definitely not the deck that I expected to dominate this weekend of tournaments for sure. But I mean, it's a very fun deck, very, very powerful deck if it managed to go off. And for tournaments like this that are a bit shorter, it does make sense to bring it because it is just very, you know, sort of high rolly, explosive, and fun. So it looks like Javier is going to set 1. And yeah, I mean, I think it's both easy to play and hard to play. Like, it's deceptively hard, I think, because like knowing what lines to go for can be difficult. But like, if you just give it to a new player and they just mill a bunch of wolves, get a bunch of wolves on field, like that is very easy for them to win from. So I think it's an easy deck to win with sometimes if your luck goes well, but if your luck goes badly, it's a very hard deck to play. But you can dig your way out of bad situations with the deck. It's just a lot harder to do so. So, and I like decks like that. I like decks that like are easy to pick up, but difficult to master. And I think Lightsworn definitely falls into that category. So, I like Lightsworn a lot. I mean, I like a lot of the decks from this time period a lot because again, you know, it's a very nostalgic time period for me. Yeah, Reason Gate is very similar to that indeed. Yeah, Reason Gate very, very tricky. There are definitely lines that just lose you the game on the spot, but like if you manage to get that luck going and just, you know, do your powerful plays, it just feels so, so good. Going for a Sirocco there, special summoning out a Bora, and yeah, that's going to be a ton of damage here. Buff up one of the Boras to 37 plus 17 is going to be 5,400 attacking into that set to play around Necrogardna this way. Very, very strong. Yeah, this is going to be nasty. Hitting it. Arcus, I mean, that's even better, right? Because now there's no Necro engrave for next turn. But yeah, that's going to be brutal. So yeah, that will deal... How much is this going to deal? That's going to deal 3,600. Yeah. And that will get rid of the Arcus there. You've got a threatening board for next turn. And you've got 3 back row in addition to the Light Imp. Now, if Javiology draws a heavy, that's going to be really good. But Aretus might have like a Solemn Judgment set in the back row. They might have other things as well. They also might have Icarus, so you can't really commit 2 cards to the field. If you set Necro here, they just do the same play they did last turn, where they buff up a Bora. It's not looking good. It is not looking good for Haviology at all. I mean, you don't have 4 names in grave either, so you can't bring out JD. Yeah, I don't know how Haviology's getting out of this one. Reborn helps. Reborn definitely helps. Yeah. What do you even go for here? Do you go for like Garroth, attack over a Bora? I guess. That didn't kill you on the following turn, so like that's fine. But yeah, I mean they searched double Arcus. So like this wasn't sort of going for the Arcus again. I mean I don't know about that one. I don't know what's in their hand. But like I don't know what they're really planning here. Oh, they're just bringing out a card to tribute for Celestia. Okay, that makes sense. You stop any targeting to disrupt the tribute summon, but you are able to go for a bottomless here to get rid of that. I think Celestia can still activate. So it's a when you can, but you should be able to trigger it when you summon it, right? Because you tribute summon it, you trigger the effect, and then bottomless goes through. Or maybe not. Or you're just admitting defeat because nothing you can really do beyond this. Oh yeah, light imp is up. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, they can still pay costs. That is important to note. But yeah, it doesn't realistically matter because you have to mill like triple necro kind of. I mean, double necro also does it. Yeah, I mean, this is probably over. Any monster off the top beats double necro, so you need like triple necro. But yep, no necro at all. So yeah, that's just the end of the game there. So yeah, that is yeah, and the JD. Okay. Oh, okay. So you go for JD. So JD is something. And JD can potentially hit over your Sirocco, which you need to do now. Okay, they're back in it. They're back in it. Unless Outrageous has a way to stop the JD. Oh, Icarus. Yeah, Icarus will do it. Yeah, distribute Bora. And then those two, yeah. Yep, and that will do it. Yep, that will do it. Nothing that you can really do beyond that. So, yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. But, yep. Let's dive in to, let's see, what match is playing now on the sheet. We've got Irradiated versus Haviology. Hoy versus Dumptruck. Let's dive into that one. That should be a cat mirror, actually. So, you know, the very, very fun cat mirror match is great. So it looks like Dumptruck won the first one. Hoy is in a really, really good spot, so they might be winning this one too. So it might go to game 3 here. So, yeah. Dumptruck's like, unlikely I'm pulling out of this one anyways. But yeah, they're going to set one pass. Not looking good. Lone Fire contribute off a token. Go for another plant. Hoy says you're probably winning. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. I'm curious now what their hand is if they can't go for big pushes here. I think you go Lone Fire Tribute token, right? You still get a plant out for Titanial, but also you deck then, and you get potentially a powerful monster on field. So I think that's what you do. Unclear, though. We have to see exactly how Hoy navigates this one. They are indeed going for Lone Fire, tributing a token. What are they bringing out? Bring out a tomato. Tomato is a plant. That does work. No plant tuner there. Oh, Minecon on the set. Okay, that is very good. So what is the set, though? That's the question. Let's see. That's 3,000, 4,400, 4,900. So 4,900 damage going in this turn. If the set is a tuner, then, I mean, that's pretty much over, right? Because then you can make Dark Strike probably pretty easily. You've got so many levels on field that, like, any level tuner probably does it. I mean, if you got a level 4, then 4 plus 3. If you got a level 3, 3 plus 4. If you got a level 2, 2 plus 2 plus 3. If you got a level 1, 2 plus 4. And there you go. So if that's a tuner, this game is over. It's just a spy. So flipping up the spy, having it resolve without effect, and passing it back over. That's a pretty decent play. Does open up Dumptruck to going for an Arknight play, but you can't target things because of the Titanial. So, yeah, a bit of an awkward spot here for sure. I'm not sure what Dumptruck really does to get out of this. I mean, Rescue Cat is probably the best thing they can have, and they do indeed have the cat there. So Cat go for, what do you go for here even? You could go for double Airbellum. You could also go for Airbellum Raikou, but Airbellum Raikou doesn't really do anything, I don't think. Probably going for Arcanite here. Oh, Black Rose. Black Rose also nukes the board. That will also be fine potentially. Does Hoy have a way to stop it, though, is the question. If they got a way to stop it, then, okay, they've just got Book. So it doesn't really do anything there. And we'll wipe the board. So Dumptruck back in it. They're at 3,100, though, so a bit of a scary spot to be in for sure. But Avarice could potentially get them out of this one. So they're leaving the Spy. That will go through, so no DD Crow. And that is a very, very good turn of events. You've used up the normal summon already, so you can't like bring out something else and go for a bigger play there. But, I mean, it's still a good spot to be in for sure. If you got back row that can sort of protect yourself for a turn, then you set up for a big play next turn. And, oh, well, Reborn is pretty good. Going for a Cat here, potentially, ripping 2 cards out of the hand. Oh, we're just going for Titanial, being like, you know, you can't stop this. So that works as well. Yeah, it's going to be a bit rough for Hoy to deal with here for sure. Yeah. Not attacking. Interesting. Not playing into Gourds, I guess, which makes sense. You know, Gourds is one of the few ways you lose in this scenario. So I respect the not playing into Gourds play here. And yeah, how does Hoy out this? They've got a Cat play of their own. I mean, what? If they got Monk. So if they got Summoner Monk, that is a way out of this. Because you go Summoner Monk, bring out a Cat, bring out double Airbellum. You can go for a Black Rose of your own, wipe the board that way. Then you're opening yourself up to an OTK push. So, yeah. Oh, and speaking of the devil, Summoner Monk comes down, hitting the field here. That will pitch a spell, bringing out a Cat probably. Pitching a Burial too, wow. Abundance of riches here. So, tripping off the Cat, going for probably double Airbellum, I assume. That makes the most sense to me. And Braincon. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. You got to tribute the Titanial to stop that. But now you're getting in for lethal damage here. So you can even, yeah. Get one hit in is still lethal because it drops them down at 1,600. You go for Dark Strike. Dark Strike finishes off the game there. So, yeah. Very, very powerful plays from the Cat deck there. Taking down the Cat deck. So, you know, kind of sad that the 2 Cat decks are facing off in the losers bracket there. But this happens sometimes. What other game is going on here? We got GMYFS versus Aratos, as well as Haviology versus Spawny. I want to dive into the Blackwing Mirror, see how that one is going. Because everyone loves the Blackwing Mirror. You know it, I know it, everyone loves it. So it looks like Aratos is a bit ahead on this board, but, you know, that Whirlwind, Whirlwind up on GMYFS's side is just so, so strong. So what's going to happen here? Oh, okay. Well, that is also very strong. Going for the back row. It's a Bottomless, so Bottomless will be able to deal with the dad, but now you don't have that Bottomless for like a Sirocco. Sirocco here on the field is probably lethal. If you go Sirocco plus Gale, Gale have the Shura. Sirocco pump one of your monsters. I mean, if they've got Sirocco, I think they win. Because Sirocco, Gale... Let's see, Sirocco Gale, that's 3,300 total on that, and then the opponent's side has 3,100, so that brings it up to 64. If you have the Gale, that's at 650, so you get in over that. It's not quite lethal, but if you've got Kalutes on top of that, then that could potentially be lethal. One Kalute is used up on Aratos' side, one Kalute used up, or no, 2 Kalutes used up on GMYFS's side, so it's unlikely that they've got a Kalute. But yeah, I think the move here with the Whirlwind, if you've got Sirocco, is Sirocco, Gale, and then, or you've got Blizzard, and Blizzard can bring back a level 3 here. You can either choose to bring back the Gale, have the Shura attack over that, or do the play that I think is probably better. Oh, well, you get Gale anyways. So, you know, Gale, yeah, that is, you can go for a level 8 here, you can go for a level 6. Okay, it looks like they're going to go for a level 5. To bring out the Android, probably. Yep, Android coming down. Android hit over. I don't know. I don't know about this because Kalute just is disastrous for you. Okay, looks like no Kalute. No Kalute in hand is very big. Magical Android hitting over the Gale there. Getting rid of that. And now the question is, does GeoMyFS go into something like Thought Ruler or Colossal Fighter or something that is potentially resilient against Ratos' board, or do they keep the Android around gain 6? Looks like they're going into a level 8. I assume, bit of a tricky one. If you go for Colossal, you lose to BrainCon, but if you go to Thought Ruler, you lose to like Whirlwind plus Sirocco. But I think that Colossal is still probably the best move there. This way you also don't lose to Gale. But it looks like they're going to go into and... Oh, they get Dad. Okay, well, yep, nothing could have stopped that. So, yeah, because if you go into Dad, you can just attack over to Stardust, attack over to Thought Ruler. So, doesn't really matter there either way. So, yeah, very, very good game one there for the Blackwing Mirror. I mean, I think that sneak peek of it was enough to really, really tell, you know, how that mirror goes and the greatness of that mirror for sure. Let's check in on Spawny versus Haviology here. We got the Lightsworn mirror, another famed, beautiful mirror match. But it looks like that will be the end of the game here, I assume, because Spawny just brings out the Judgment Dragon if they've got the lights. Yeah, they've got enough targets engraved for Judgment Dragon. Uses the effect, wipes the board, and then brings out the Honest as well. So that should be the end of the game. I don't really know what stops that. Gord stops that, I guess, but like, I think it's fine to play around Gord or to not play around Gords. Just go for lethal here. Okay. Going for this instead. I do not know how I feel about this. I don't like this. I think it would have just been better to go for lethal. Maybe the back row is something really strong, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it just would have been better to go for the lethal line. And then you also have the Honest to bounce back to hand afterwards if you want to use it. So I think this was actually a major misplay on Spawny's part. Yeah. What? What? I mean, they threw. Like, I don't know. Oh, wow. They just threw. I mean... did they not have 1,000? Did I misread the life point total? Was that it? I don't know. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, weird one for sure. But anyways, we are back in here with the Cat Mirror. Dumptruck has the Summoner Monk in attack after bringing out off of a Tomato, most likely. So now they can potentially do a major play here. Trunade, oh my goodness. I mean, Hoy has to have like T-Roar. Yep, they do have the T-Roar, so that is something. That could potentially still kill through Dark Strike Fighter. They need to have 28 levels worth of things, so that's a bit unlikely here. But there are worlds in which they do that. They could also just go for another Arcanite here and just like pop the Gale. That is something they can do as well. This is the second T-Roar you step. Wow. Okay, so it looks like they're pitching a spell here. They're going to pitch the BrainCon. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it depends on what they do here. Well, he does deck thin out Arabellums, I guess, and Cats, but like you don't really care about deck thinning those. Okay, Raikou pop the Gale, so that's something, I guess. And then you go Android plus Strike, maybe? Okay, they're going for a Avarice here as well. Did they only play one Arcanite? Is that maybe why they did that? I don't know. I don't know. I think BrainCon's so high valued, you don't really need to use up the Monk effect yet. I mean, if you want to set up the Avarice, that's fine, I guess. But like, I don't know. I'm not sure I would have done that. But let me know what you would all do in the chat. Because there definitely were multiple ways to navigate that turn after the T-Roar gets flipped up. But yeah, I think the move now is just you sit on an Android plus Arcanite. That, to me, makes the most sense. You could also just go for, like, a Stardust. You could go for Stardust or Thought Ruler. Something like that. But yeah, Android plus Arcanite, I think, makes a lot of sense. You've got things to pop next turn. You're gaining life here as well. If you've got back row to protect this board, you're also feeling fine there. So, yeah. Oh, going for Dark Strike. Okay. Are they taking the challenge? Looks like they're setting 2 passing. Okay, so that back row must be something good at least. And they will be gaining 6 from the Android. Okay, and it looks like Hoy is setting 3, 4. Okay, setting 4. You know, that is a hand right there. A bit of a scary hand if you're Dump Truck. Playing around Mirror Force here, attacking in for 26. I think that's fine. Okay, book on the Dark Strike, setting that down. And it looks like they're just passing back, saying, you know, you got to out my board somehow. You know, good luck. If Hoy draws into Cat, then that's pretty good for them. They summon a Cat, bring out like Raikou plus Airbellum, and then go into a magical android of their own, potentially hit over the android there or the Dark Strike Fighter, because Dark Strike Fighter only has 1800 defense. They've got Debris, though, which is arguably better. Oppression will stop that, though, if Hoy doesn't have a way to stop the Oppression. And that is very rough. Yeah, that is disastrous. That is brutal. Yeah, and Hoy passed back to Dump Truck. Isn't Oppression such a fun card, folks? Isn't it so fun? It's such a fun card. It's so fun. Attacking in with Android here. Mirror Force coming down now on the Android. But I do think this was the right thing to do. You play around a TT this way. Flipping up the Dark Strike Fighter now. If TT's getting fired, it's getting fired here probably. But it looks like no TT. Did they? Okay, they did gain another 6 from before, but yeah. And then they paid 8. That makes sense. Paid 8 felt great. And Hoy is in a tough spot. I don't know how Hoy gets out of this one. They are just going to keep that card in hand. Take the Dark Strike Fighter hit here. Isn't quite lethal through Strike Fighter's effect. Because they need a level 8 monster to make it lethal through that. But they're just going to pass back. I mean, Dark Strike Fighter on its own is pretty threatening. 2600 attack when you can't special summon is just very, very rough. So, yeah, I don't know what I don't know what Hoy does here to get out of this, to be honest. Cold Wave. Okay, and Cold Wave should stop the Oppression. I believe that's how it works. I believe they cannot Oppression after this. I could be wrong about that ruling, but I'm pretty sure that is how the ruling goes, where they can't Oppression after a Cold Wave's been activated. So, I could be wrong about that. Let me know in the comments if I am wrong about that. Don't defer to me. I'm unsure about this too. Yeah, ask a judge, because I am I'm definitely not the you know, the end all be all on this sort of ruling. So definitely ask a judge about that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think you Solemn the Cold Wave. I mean, you could Solemn the Cold Wave. You've got Oppression up plus Dark Strike Fighter. But if they've got like a Brain Con, that's just the end of the game for you. If you Solemn the Cold Wave, because they Brain Con your Dark Strike Fighter, attack him for 26. You're at 3750, and then you tribute off for, yeah. Yeah, so that should be lethal if they've got Brain Con. So, I mean, it makes sense why you wouldn't Solemn the Cold Wave if you do have that. But yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Yeah, it's on edisonformat.com rulings, but I'm not sure if those rulings apply here. Okay, it looks like Aratos lost to GMYFS. So it looks like that mirror match wrapped up there. So GMYFS is in the winners finals yet again. 2 tournaments in a row. So, you know, are they the 5Ds GOAT? You be the judge. But yeah, I don't think that you can activate Oppression under Cold Wave. So that would be my guess. And it looks like Hoy can proceed here. So they're going to bring out Lone Fire. Okay, Lone Fire for Titanial is really good here. That's very, very tricky for Dump Truck to out. And it does beat over Dark Strike Fighter as well. So that's pretty good. Yep, deck thinning those Lone Fires. You really don't need them right now. And yeah, the Titanial hitting over the Dark Strike. Oppression is up, so you can't special summon here either, because Oppression can be stopped. So Yeah, this is a... Well, actually, you can special summon this turn because Oppression can't be activated right now. But yeah, it looks like they do not have things like Summoner Monk for a big explosive play here. And this is going to be pretty good for Hoy. So it looks like Hoy might have managed to turn around. And that Oppression is coming back to bite Dumptruck in the butt here a bit. Hitting over a Dark Panther. Doesn't do anything here. And yeah, this is going to be a bit awkward. What's Hoy going to do now? Are they going to set more? They're going to set a face-down monster pass back. And it looks like Hoy is potentially turning this game around. There are things that Dumptruck can do to get back into it. But like, that Oppression is really shooting them in the foot now. Minecon on the set, hoping something good, I hope. We'll have to see exactly what they do here with that set. It's a Summoner Monk. Wow, that's a potentially good one. I mean, you need to have a way to shut off the Oppression here. But if you can shut off your own Oppression, then that is a good Minecon. They're checking their grave. Seeing exactly what they got here. Yeah, they're definitely a tricky one for them. How many duelists in this event? There were, I believe, 7 duelists in this event. I could be wrong. Let me check. Yep, 7 duelists in this event. One of them did not play, though, so it's more like 6 duelists in this event. But yeah, Heavy coming down here, shutting off their own Oppression and shutting off a Bottomless. I think that is probably what you got to do, you know? And, a Cold Wave in the back row, choosing not to go for the Cold Wave again because they don't want Dumptruck to pop off with special summons. So, yeah. And Dad coming down. Oh, my goodness. Now, the thing is that Dad can't quite trade favorably with Titanial because you have to crash basically either way. But, I mean, it really does depend on what the spells are. And, and Reborn! Oh, my goodness. I mean, Hoy was cooked either way. Like, even without the Minecon, Hoy was cooked here. Yeah, the Air Bellum gets in, rips the last card out of hand. You get to, you know, do crazy things with the Summoner Monk. Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. Oh, and another Smunk in hand. Oh, that is wild. That is indeed wild. I mean, I think this honestly worked out okay for Hoy, but that is actually exact lethal. Yeah, never mind. It did not work out okay for Hoy because Dark Strike Fighter is in the format. So, yep, tributes off, deals 14, and that's going to be all she wrote. Yeah. So Dumptruck managed to take that one, winning the Cat Mirror match here. So that match wraps up. We've got Javiology versus Spawny as the last match going on. So let's dive into that one now. This should be the Lightsworn Mirror yet again, or that game wrapped up. Did it wrap up? Oh yeah, it did. Okay, so it looks like Javiology won that one, and it's Javiology versus Dumptruck now. So we got Lightsworn versus Cat. Which one will win? You decide. Let me know in the comments of this stream. But yeah, I need to go back and watch that Spawny versus Javiology game because I do think that like Spawny like threw one of the games there, which was very unfortunate to see. But let's see. Is the game is not going on yet? Should be going on soon though. So I'm excited to see what that happens there. And yeah. Is it happening yet? Is it? Let's see. Looks like still not yet. Well, while we're waiting, what are all your thoughts on Cat format? Because we've been showing off some games in it. Do you think it is fun? Do you think it looks good? Do you think it looks terrible? Do you think it's overhyped in terms of how much people hate it? What do you think? Like, I don't know. It's been looking definitely a bit more healthy than I expected to be. But at the same time, you know, only 2 players were on Cat. And so that could definitely change things quite a bit there. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. And I need to crowdsource my opinions from the group. A festering abomination, says Hoy. That, I mean, could be. It is definitely different from a lot of the other formats we've featured here. So, yeah, I don't know. It definitely is something. Yeah, okay, I watched back the replay. Spawny definitely had enough to go for Judgment Dragon plus Honest here. Like, they just won the game. If they did Judgment Dragon, wipe the board with the effect, summon out Honest, and then you win, right? Like, you don't even care if they've got Gorge, because then you return Honest main too, and then you wipe the board again. So, yeah, Spawny did throw that one. But again, it's a lot harder to actually tell in the moment than when you're watching on commentary. So it's good to know in the future that Lightsworn could have actually beaten Lightsworn instead of Lightsworn beating Lightsworn. So maybe Lightsworn is better than people think, or maybe Lightsworn is worse than people think. But okay, we got the Dump Truck versus Haviology game. I thought the DB would like auto update it, but I guess it did not. But very, very good opening for Haviology, getting that Necro Engrave right away. That's what you want to see. Charge coming down here again. So many charges. Oh, getting a Judgment Dragon Engrave for the Beckoning Light is also very, very good here. So what will they add? What Lightsworn will they add to hand? Will it be the Arcus as they are wont to do? It looks like it is indeed going to be the Arcus. So that's their signature move here. It looks like they're searching out the Arcuses. Going for a Lumina here. What is Lumina getting back? Could get back an Arcus if they pitch an Arcus here. And it looks like they will be getting back that Arcus. How many times am I going to say Arcus? Take a shot every time I say Arcus. Actually, don't do that. That would probably lead to very, very bad situations. But, you know, the Lumina and the Arcus are getting in here for 2,200. That's going to go through. Setting one, setting another, passing back. And now they get some mills. They get 5 mills total. Count them 5. And those are, well, Wolf is a good mill. Wolf is a great mill. Get that Wolf on field. Bottomless for the Wolf, so that's something. It does not target, so you can use this to get around Arcus here. And yeah, seeing the double JDs engraved, you're probably fine going for that. So, yep, I think this makes sense. Banish that Wolf. Banish that Wolf. Get it out of here. Yeah, it did not target, so yeah. Yep, banish that Wolf. And now it's on to Dump Truck's turn. Do they have a way to OTK through this? It's a bit tricky because there is a Necro Engrave. Honest could be in hand as well. Cold Wave coming down here, though. That is pretty good for Dump Truck, I'd say. Looks like Beckoning getting chained to that, so this way they get the Honest to hand for sure. And also get a Necro Engrave, so that's really good. You have to fight through 2 Necros plus an Honest. And that is I mean, that's a good thing to have to fight through. If you're Haviology there. Going for Honest plus, or yeah, did they not add an Honest? Did they just go JD? That's a bit weird. Going for Airbellum here, attacking over the Lumina. Will they get Necroed? Probably, I assume. Kind of an underwhelming Cold Wave here, honestly. I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, I'm surprised they didn't add the other Honest Engrave, but I guess it makes sense if you got JD. You want the JD online, so makes sense there. Okay, they are indeed going to Necro Garden. I think that makes sense, you know. And now Dump Truck has to pass back. Looking pretty good for Haviology. Of course, not 4 names Engrave. Not too many ways to get there. I mean, you could just crash the Lumina and the Arcus into the Airbellum and just do that and then get the Judgment Dragon out on field. That seemed really bad to me, though, so I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah, a bit tricky. What you can't do this. Yeah, no, you can't do that. Arcus is on field. Yeah. Okay. I thought there was going to be some weird stuff going on there for sure, but it looks like there will not be. So we're still good. And Lila coming out. So Lila, the new card. And it's just going to be attacking in over the Airbellum, over the Lumina, and the Arcus. Or those are both going to attack in as well. So it's going to be a fair amount of damage here. Oh, does Dump Truck have like Gores? Looks like they do not. And yeah, just passing back, and Judgment Dragon's coming down for the follow-up because you're milling a ton here. Wolf getting hit as well. So yeah, looking good. You got Plague as well. You got Necro Engrave. I mean, yeah, it's looking pretty over for Dump Truck. It's looking pretty over for Dump Truck, not gonna lie. But I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. That doesn't look like the way. Just T-setting passing. I mean, that could be a T-Roar. If it is a T-Roar. Oh, Crush card. Oh, well, that is a good one. Oh, but the Solemn will shut that down. So, yep, that's going to be the end of the game. So, yeah, Crush card would have been really good, but unfortunately, it did not go through. So, yeah, I mean, you could have maybe saved the Crush card for after Lila went after it or after, like, you know, JD came down, but I don't really think it matters that much. So, yeah. Lightsworn versus Cat. Looks like the first game has gone to Lightsworn. How will the second and third games go? That is the question. That's the question on everybody's mind. Yeah, it seemed like the cat hand was pretty bad, which I feel like is part of the flaws with cat, right? It's not necessarily the most consistent deck in the world. So, you know, you do get hands that don't do as much as other hands do. And that's just unfortunate, right? But yeah, looks like Dumbtruck's done siding, probably bringing in those light imps. What is Haviology siding against this? Maybe like threatenings or things like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we've really seen how like Lightsworn can live or die based off of if they mill the Necros or not. Necro is so important in this format. So getting your mill engine online quick is very, very good. And Light Imp stops that mill engine from going through. So Light Imp is very, very good against the Lightsworn deck. But Haviology is thinking about how to side here. What will they side? Also, I do want to note that if Haviology makes it to the finals, this will be the second Haviology versus GMYFS finals for this weekend of tournaments. That's kind of wild. I just wanted to point that out. But it looks like we're going in to the game number 2 here. And looks like Dumbtruck will be going first. Will they open up something good? Will they open up something bad? One way to find out. Dive into the games here. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah. Ooh, and Nobleman of Extermination coming down here. Very interesting. Light Imp getting chained, so Nobleman will not actually destroy it because it has to destroy it. If you chain it to it, Nobleman will not destroy it. So Light Imp being on field is very, very good for Dumbtruck, though. So that is very nice there. But if Haviology has a way to deal with the Light Imp, then that's pretty bad. But yeah, baiting out the Nobleman of Extermination like that, very, very good for Dumbtruck there. I'm not really sure what Haviology's next move is here. Kind of awkward. You can go for like charge or recharge. If you got those online, that's very good. If you don't, then it's awkward. But yeah, charge coming down here. I think that is the move. Just get like Garroth here if you really want to. Like just go for Garroth, get in for 1850. I don't think that's terrible. Yeah, and there's Garroth. So yeah, I think it's fine just getting in the damage here while you can. Going for recharge as well, pitching a Raikou. Yep, makes sense. Raikou's dead against that Light Imp. And drawing 2, then milling 2. What will they mill here? Milling a Lila and a Plague. Okay, Plague, really good. Plague is not shut down by the Light Imp. I can't think of a Synchro monster right now that can deal with the Light Imp out right now. So like Bryo isn't out yet, so you can't just go into Bryo, bounce back the Light Imp and do stuff. Yeah, so there's not really any good 6s to go into here. So I'm not really sure what Haviology's next move is. I think you save the Plague for a play later. Yeah, you just go for Garroth now, I think. Get in for 1850, and then you save Plague for like going for a Goyo play or something like that when you can take control of one of Dumbtruck's monsters and clear it at the same time. That just makes the most sense to me. So, Haviology's checking the graveyard. They're deciding whether to go for a Plague play here, but again, I don't think you do, and they do not, indeed. I think that is the smart play. And now Dumbtruck is in, okay, there's set in 1. So really slow start from Dumbtruck here. It looks like they really did not draw a good hand, which is unfortunate, but that is how it goes sometimes. Haviology has the potential to punish Dumbtruck's slow hand here, but that Light Imp is really slowing down a lot of what they can do. Now the question is, does Haviology go for a Plague play here, going into Goyo, taking over the set, taking control of it, or do they just attack him with Garroth and keep that online? They could also just bring out another level 4 monster, go into Goyo, and have Garroth in addition to that. That is an option. So a couple different moves they could do here. They are thinking a bit about this, though. It is a think. It is a thonker. It's a thinkity thonker. This is game 2 as well. So, you know, even if Dumbtruck wins this one, they have to win another one after. Definitely is a thonker, though, depending on what's in the hand. You might not want to stack at this point, too. You might just want to draw into ways to out the Light Imp. But I don't think a Goyo play is terrible here. I also don't think, well, so, you know, cat decks sometimes play Spy. So it could be Spy, and you don't necessarily want to attack Garroth into a Spy. You'd want to, like, Goyo that away. So that's an option there. Okay, they're going to go for Arcus here. Arcus's effect is not negated by the Light Imp because it's just a continuous effect, so it's not activated. The guard will not be able to target either of these monsters because Arcus is on field. So Arcus will prevent it from bouncing back. I don't really think that matters that much. No, 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 no. It won't do that. No, no. I'm just gonna send it to dump as opposed to heavy. Arcus doesn't the targeting effect at least. So you can't target the Garoth. Yeah, because it's not activated. Yeah, the milling is negated. The milling is negated, but the targeting is not. So, yeah. The continuous effect is not negated. The milling is negated because that's activated. But the effect that just prevents people from targeting Lightsworns, that is still on. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it will matter here that much, but like, I think Static Effect is the Magic the Gathering term for that, yeah. I don't know as much about Magic the Gathering ruling terms as some others do, but I do believe that is the term, which is a very useful term for cases like this. So, pass it back to Haviology here. Haviology can get over that guard if they've got like an Honest. Honest can still use this effect. BrainCon can also be used here to take control of the guard, go for a lot of damage here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not looking good for Dumptruck here, despite the Light Mirror. But yeah. Yeah, I do feel like they can be very useful. And like, we do borrow a lot of Magic Gathering terms just in general. For instance, Mill. That comes from Magic Gathering, from the Millstone card, which basically originated that strategy, right? So we do borrow a lot of terms from Magic Gathering anyways, but is this going to be an OTK? Going for Reborn here, maybe target the... I do not like that. Because 729 plus... It's 4750. And then you just stack for Plague, go for Goyo. I think they just threw, right? Like, am I crazy here? Didn't they just throw? Like, there's no reason to Reborn stack Plague. I mean, you can go for a Plague play now. So you can do Plague plus Arcus for Android, and then that's 4250. So that still kills. Okay, so they win here either way. But, yeah. Bryo would go crazy in this format. That'd be really, really good in this format. But Bryo's not out, so I'm honestly happy Bryo isn't out. I feel like this leads to more interesting deck building. But, yeah, it's going to be the end of the game. So... wow, very unexpected ending to this. I mean, with the Light Imp. But yeah, Gorge shut off by the Light Mirror. Cyber Valley shut off by Light Mirror. Everything shut off by Light Mirror. I think, honestly, you just set the Oppression. I don't know why they didn't set Oppression. Oppression would have stopped this play from going through. You don't really care about Heavy because if they use Heavy, they're going to probably win anyways. But yeah, I think Oppression would have been the best set there. But Oppression shuts off your own stuff too, so I do get why Dumptruck didn't set the Oppression. But, like, you're playing things like Trunade and stuff to turn off your own floodgates. So, yeah. Yeah, we do lose Dark Strike Fighter. And Dark Strike Fighter is pretty crazy as well. But, yeah. So, we got a Raytos vs. Haviology there. And so, that game is going to be starting very shortly. So, I'm excited for that. Looks like Raytos is hosting here. Yep. There we go. Looks like someone wants to play Tengu Plant with Agents. So, if anyone wants to jump into that game, then feel free for that. But maybe we'll do that at the end of the stream if we've got time. But, you know, they're still looking. But it looks like Raytos is indeed hosting here. And then we'll dive into the game once they manage to get Haviology in. But yeah, very interesting. So Cat not making it to the finals of the Cat format tournament. I don't think many people expected that going into this. But maybe, you know, it is to be expected. Because, like, this is not the championship. This is the... finals of the lower brackets. This means that whoever wins this will go on to face GMYFS. And yeah. Yes, Raytos has indeed lost one. GMYFS will indeed be the final boss for these players. Whoever wins this Going for a Soul Recharge off the top, pitching a Wolf. Classic Lightsworn opening. Gotta always have the Wolf in hand, but you also gotta always have the Recharge to pitch it, you know? Pitching the Wolf, milling 2, milling a Charge, you don't want to mill that, but milling a Gardna. Oh, Gardna is such a good mill. I mean, as we've discussed ad infinitum in this format, Gardna just puts in work for the Lightsworn deck. Looks like Javioli just going to set 1. Are they going to set more? Is that just it? Probably a Raikou. Yeah, just setting 1 passing. That to me is a Raikou. Like, there's no way that's not a Raikou in my mind. It could be an Arceus, I guess, as well, but like, I think it's Raikou. Going for a lure here, drawing 2, banishing 1. They got to decide on what to banish here. Bit of a tricky choice for them, it looks like. What will they banish is the question. What will vanish in the banish pile? Again, triple Gale in this format, so banishing a Gale is not out of the question. And not necessarily a terrible move because you got triple of them, so you don't necessarily need the third one. Checking the graveyard, seeing the Necro there. So they're like, okay, I got to play around Necro a bit. I got to play around Raikou a bit if that's Raikou. Going for a Shura here, just attacking into the set, hoping it's Raikou or something. And we'll see if the Necro manages to stop this attack. I honestly would. If I was Javiology, I would stop this. Yeah, they are indeed stopping this. And then in main 2, you got to decide, okay, do I set more into a potential Raikou, or do I just keep it like this? I think I think probably setting more is fine. You know, setting 3, so that way the Raikou has to do like a 1/3 chance of hitting something really good here. Now, Javiology could have heavy, which would be really bad for you. But I think you just got to go for it anyways. The big punish here is like they flip Raikou, go into Celestia as well. Celestia pops your 2 remaining back row. But then you potentially got a Kalut in hand to pair with the Shura. So going for a Lumina here, pitching right away. That is interesting to me. Pitching a Plague. I feel like the fact that they did this, to me, implies that that set is not Raikou. Because if it was Raikou, what I would do is I'd flip up Raikou immediately, playing around Icarus attack if they've got it. You also get Mills and Grave, so that way, yeah, it was a Necro. Okay, that makes sense. So, Necro getting flipped up as well. The Wolf is probably tagging into this. Yeah, it's tagging into the Shura there. And what will a Ratos do? They're thinking. Ratos is thinking. Do they go for Icarus here if they've got it? Potentially the move. Mirror Force. Wow, that is a high-value Mirror Force right there. My Body coming down, though, to stop that Mirror Force from going through. So that'll cost Javiology 1,500. And now Ratos has got to think. Got to think, okay, they have the Icarus. They do indeed have the Icarus, so they're probably popping the Wolf and the Lumina. So that will get rid of those unless Javiology got another My Body. But yeah, Embass, My Body is a shield. So played in main deck. Very, very interesting tech in this format. I guess it makes sense in certain cases. Like, for instance, it stops JD in the mirror. Stops Arcanite. That's the main things I'm thinking of, honestly. I can't really think of much else. But yeah, I think it's a good card. I just think it's kind of awkward sometimes. Because it can't just be dead. But we'll have to see what Ratos does here. If I was Javiology, maybe you go for Android. Just to get the Necro Engrave. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it necessarily matters. Going for a Blizzard here. Trying to bring back the Shura. And, yeah, Incata can protect your double airs, but, like, they're playing Lightsworn. So, like, I'm not really sure what the use cases are, except for in the mirror against, like, Judgment Dragon. I guess it can also just be used against random traps, like Icarus Attack or Mirror Force. So, in the Blackwing matchup, it has some utility there as well. So, yeah, I mean, it just, in Cat, it doesn't seem like it does anything. And this is like Cat format. So it's kind of weird to me that it'd be like that. But going for an Armwinged instead of a Goyo, I was thinking like, oh, it can stop Crush Card Virus. That is also a very good point. Yeah. If you've got a monster on field already, then you can actually stop Crush Card Virus with that. So that is a very good point. I didn't think of that, actually. But yeah, I'm not sure how I like the Armwing play here. I mean, we don't know what's in a Ratos' hand. They could also have an Icarus set, so they want to pair with that. But I kind of like Goyo just take the Necro. I mean, they could just summon a monster and, you know, hit over the Necro anyways. But, like, I don't know. I think it's just funny. I mean, maybe it's just too cute. Maybe it's just, like, not actually that good. But, yeah. GeoWire says that they've sold, like, 3 Necros with Goyo this weekend, not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, you've been playing a lot of Lightsworn, and that is a good move. You know, it shuts them off from a Necro Engrave, allows you to get more aggressive next turn. But the reason why Eratus would go into Armlink here, in my like sort of estimation, would be that they probably have an Icarus set. That would be my guess. That's the main reason to go into a Winged Beast here, as opposed to just going for Goyo, taking the Necro. Or they just don't have a way to protect the Necro, and they don't want the opponent just to hit into it anyways. Going for a Brain Gun here, taking control of the Armed Wing. That's a little bit scary here, but also you're not necessarily close to dead. You know, only 2 Light-Torn names in grave. They can go for a Plague here, which is awkward because they go Plague, make a level 8, and that's kind of unfortunate for you. But I think it's better to just let that happen rather than just go into an Icarus right now. Stardust does stop Icarus, so there is sort of also that argument for, like, you know, using Icarus preemptively. But they can go into a Plague at a later point anyways, so, like, I don't know. I think it's fine. We also don't know what the back row is. The back row could be something that can stop Stardust. What is my favorite 5Ds format? I do not actually know yet because I haven't really played many. I played Edison, and Edison was great, so I like Edison. So currently, probably Edison, because that's the one that I played. But it's just mainly because I haven't played the others, right? So once I start playing them, I could really enjoy the other ones, and that could easily dethrone Edison for my top 5Ds format. So it really does depend. I need to play a lot more of them. I've been focusing on just, the Solemn on the Solemn. That is brutal here. Yeah, and Stars can get in for 25. There's the Necro to stop an attack. Oof, that's looking bad for Eratos here. But, yeah, I really just need to play more of them. Honest as well. Yep, no normal summon has happened yet. So this is getting in for 100 off lethal. That is wild. Yeah. So there are outs that Eratos could maybe draw, but, like, it's not looking good. Especially with that Necro engraved, because most of the outs that Eratos have are by battle. You can go for Gale. Gale half Stardust is the main thing to do. But yeah, it's gonna be tough, especially with that Honest allowing any mods. Oh well, Dad, yeah, Dad does it, yeah. Dad and Gale, so this way you guaranteed get over the Stardust through an attack. Yeah, that is pretty good. Probably want to Necro the Dad attack because you don't want to take that damage. Because you are dying this turn if you don't Necro one of them. So you got to Necro Dad, in my opinion. There's nothing to think about. You got to Necro Dad. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. Just take less damage, you know? But yeah, Gale letting Stardust, actual classic, especially in this format when you've got 3 Gale run around. So yeah. Yeah, Necro on the Dad attack, then Gale attack in over the Stardust, dealing 50, getting that off the board. Honest is in hand, so any light monster will do it, unless Eratos does have a way to stop that. But it's looking like they might have been able to reclaim this one from the brink of defeat. Yeah. Yeah, and you do see it in Edison a fair amount as well, especially because a lot of games do go on in Edison. One back row set, pass back to Haviology. If that back row is something like Solemn, that's obviously really good, and it might actually just end the game. We got to see exactly what they do here, but, I mean, it's not looking good for Haviology, honestly. It really does depend on what the set is, though. The set could just be a dead card that Eratos is setting as a bluff. But if you're Haviology, you've got one move to make. Summon Honest and try and attack in. That is your one move to make. They are indeed going to attack in to one of these things here. If that's Icarus, then that's pretty good. Oh, okay, yeah. So that will just go through. And yeah, just a beckoning in hand. So that is the end of the game. Yeah, I mean, you got to bluff that either way. So yeah, nothing you could really do there. The beckoning would not do anything for you. And setting an Honest into a Dad doesn't do anything either. So very, very intense game one of this match. I mean, Eratos down to 100 life points, managing to claw back victory from the jaws of defeat through a Necro Gardener, no less. I mean, that's just wild. So very, very good stuff. How will game 2 of Lightsworn versus Blackwings go? We have to find out. We got to watch and find out. WAFO. Watch and find out. I'm excited, though. Which deck do you all think will win this one? Do you think Blackwings will win this one or Lightsworns? Because I'm personally leaning towards Blackwings. I think, especially after siding, just siding in like Light Imp is really good. And Blackwings is just such a flexible deck. But Lightsworn can just kill out of nowhere. And Honest is annoying. You know, the great strength of both these decks is that, you know, Blackwings have Kalut. Lightsworns have Honest. So, you know, there's something there. But yeah, I also think the birds as well, GeoMyFS. This format is for the birds. Yeah. Yeah, that was not a good one. That was not a good one. I apologize, everyone, about that. But yeah, yeah. But you know, we're still living out here, and it looks like Javier is going to T-set pass. So what are the odds that that's a Raikou? Pretty high in my opinion. But Radius also probably figures it's a Raikou. And Black Whirlwind, that is going to be really good here. Going for a Shura play here. Now, if you're putting bottomless the Shura, I believe you do not get the thing, and it looks like that is indeed the case. So yeah, so bottomless, very, very good, in games 2 and 3, stopping the Whirlwind plays here. If that set is a Raikou and they flip it up, pop the Whirlwind, that's really awkward. Charge can also get a Lila here, so that it's also really awkward. Milling a Wolf on top of that. Ooh, it's not looking good. Bringing the Wolf in defense, but Oppression is going to be very, very good there. But technically, you have to see what the card that they add off charge is first. But yeah, Oppression is going to be pretty good here, especially with a Whirlwind up. Yeah, because Lightsworn does really want a special summon. Yeah, one day I will reopen 3 Whirlwind. The last time I did that was 15 years ago. Yeah, oh, that brings me back. But yeah, triple Whirlwind is just nuts. Oh, and the Dust Shoot here. Whoa, okay. So Arados playing this hand very, very well. Saving the Dust Shoot for the charge because they know that, if Lila's brought, that basically shuts off their game plan. So they need to get rid of that now. So very good stuff there. I mean, another charge could be in hand, but you got to get rid of the Lila probably. There aren't enough names engraved to make JD that scary. And also you've got Oppression for the JD. So realistically, what you care about is the Lila. So they're going to shuffle that back. I assume they shuffled back the Lila. If they didn't, then there must have been something even more threatening in hand, but that's what I assume. And now Ray just gets full knowledge of that hand as well. So yeah, it's not looking good for Javiology here. Although, again, if the set is a Raikou, you flip out the Raikou, probably pop. I mean, I don't know what you'd pop here. It's an Arcus anyways, so it doesn't matter there. But Arcus can flip up. Tribute that for Celestia. Celestia can pop the board anyways. So ultimately, it works out the same way. Maybe you wanted to give them a... I don't know. They probably shuffled back the Lila, but you maybe wanted to shuffle away the Celestia. Yeah, it's always Arcus. It's always Arcus with Javiology. They always go into the Arcus. But yeah, so getting a little bit hurt by that, but... And now Javiology set in 1, but Arados has probably a good read on what that set is. And they're going to go for a Gale. Gale have Celestia will indeed do that. So that will clear the Celestia. Gale is so strong in this format. Playing at 3 in a deck that synergized with it. So good. Oh my goodness, dude. I don't know. They call it cat format. Maybe it should be called Blackwing format because Blackwings just seems so good. Especially after all the innovation that's gone on in Edison with Blackwings. I could definitely see Blackwings being the best deck in cat format for sure. But looks like Javiology is going to set 1 and pass back. So Radios probably has a decent read on what that set is based on the Dust Shoot, but it could be the new card that they drew. And Radios has to think a bit about this. What are they going to do here? Checking the grave. No Necros, no nothing. Tagging into a Necro. Speaking of the Necro, main 2 having that Necro. Always want to get the Gale halves in while you've got them. And 300 attack. That's important too. I mean, it might not come up, but like, it is important. Could potentially come up. And yeah, the fact that it hits defense is also something very funny. Works with Bora as well, so if Bora comes out next turn, that's really good. So yeah, it's not looking good for Javiology, especially if like Shura comes down too. Shura hits over Necro, get out another Blackwing, just keep the offensive pressure going. That's just brutal. No Blackwings engraved for Blizzard though. That is something to keep in mind. But yeah, it's just not looking good for Javiology here. Not looking good indeed. Razor's going to hit over that Necro. Yeah, no need to have right now because, like, you're not dealing piercing. So, what does it really matter? They're going to send another pass back to Javiology here. And it looks like, what is Javiology going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to bring out a Lila. Lila's pretty good. Lila can pop one on the back row if they want to, but I feel like you probably want to attack into the Gale first before going for one on the back row. Because otherwise, the Gale just sits over the Lila next turn, and that's not really that good. Trade for back row either way if they've got back row that stops the Lila. No, I do not. I don't like that. Going for Icarus here, popping the Lila in the set. The Lila will not pop something here because it does not get to switch to defense. So, yeah. I did not like that play. Now, you don't pop it because it doesn't switch to defense. So, yeah. Gale was limited for 5 years. Deserved limit. Well, maybe not by the end of it, but like, you know, yeah. Yeah, I think like, so something that you always got to keep in mind when you've got like a Breaker or a Lila, etc., and your opponent has a problematic monster is like, you got to think about how you're trading with the back row, right? If the monster will trade with whatever you're bringing out anyways, like it just pays to attack into the monster and then try and pop a back row, because either way, you're trading 1-for-1 with the back row essentially, but you also want to get the additional monster trade as well. So it generally is just better to attack in with Lila here. Like realistically, it would have been the same result. But like, I mean, I guess if, the one thing is if Haviology has a Judgment Dragon. If Haviology is Judgment Dragon, then that's the one reason to go for that play there, because you want to get rid of some back row before going for JD. But I think like if you don't have JD, it doesn't really make sense to do that. So you just want to attack into the Gale, and then pop on the back row main 2 if you're allowed to. But clearly they would not be allowed to because that Icarus attack was online. So Outrageous is in a pretty good spot here. I mean, Necro is in Grave. You can just get on a monster hit in every turn. That's pretty good. They might be a bit monster light though. Going for Blizzard. Blizzard will bring back the Gale there. Can't synchro with those because they're both tuners, but you're able to just get another body on field that will have an opponent's monster if they let it survive. So I'd say this is still a pretty good turn for Outrageous here. Will that go through? I feel like Haviology should let this one go through. Like, you want to save your Necro for plays like Shura, or just big OTK pushes. So I don't really think it makes sense for Haviology to use the Necro here, but they might. I don't know. More power to them if they want to. Oh, it's okay. We're just reconnecting. Okay, that's why. I was like, they're putting some thought into banishing Necro there, you know, but it's just DB and DB, you know. That's how DBB, you know. That's how B the DB. Let's see here. What's Haviology going to do now? They do have 4 lights warrants in Grave, so they will be able to go for JD if they've got it. But do they got it? That's the question. Do they have the Judgment Dragon? I mean, if they don't have Judgment Dragon, I think what you do is just normal summon a monster, try hit over Gale. Because Gale is the big problem here. Because whatever monster you bring out, like let's say you hit over Blizzard, Gale just switches to attack, halves it, and hits over it, right? So you don't want that to happen. So whatever you've got, like, if you've got a monster, you probably just summon it out, hit over Gale. You know, that makes sense to me. You know, if the back row is live. Oh no, I lost connection. Okay. Yeah, DB is being DB today for sure. Let's search up Outrageous versus Haviology. Okay, they've got Arcus. Arcus is going to be really good. Outrageous can't target that with effects now, so that's pretty good. And yeah, they hit over the Gale, and that's going to be what it does. I mean, you could also potentially set the Arcus to wall up a bit, because even after it's flipped up, Gale can't have it. So that is an option as well. But you probably want to get more mills in Grave with the Arcus. So I think that makes sense. Unfortunately, Shura coming down here. Now, do they have Honest in hand? If you got Honest in hand, you probably want to use it here, or just use the Necro instead. Okay, they're asking anything in sub-step 1 of the damage step. Probably not, I assume. Because Kalut does not go well into an Arcus here. Because if you activate Kalut, they just activate Honest, and then they buff up, you know, in addition to the stat the Kalut buffs up, I believe. Actually, no. I think what would happen is you activate Kalut. They have to chain the Honest. They use the Honest to buff it up to 3k. And then, because that's chain link 2, and then chain link 1, your Kalut activates. So I think that's how it works. Could be wrong there, though. Could be wrong. I might be wrong. I think I am wrong. I don't know. Damage step rulings are always so weird. But yeah. So nothing in sub-step 1. Looks like they're going to go for an Honest here. You know, hit over to the Shura there. I think that's fine. And now they can use a Necro here for the Blizzard. I think this makes sense. Choosing not to attack, though. Oh, yeah, because it's Honest. Yeah. Honest boost lasts till the end of the battle phase. So, or end of the turn even. So, yeah. I pointed that out the other day, and I just immediately forgot it here. But yeah, milling a Plague with the Arcus there. That's pretty good. Milling another Honest as well, so no more second Honest for you. Or no more third Honest as well. But the Plague is going to be pretty good. You can bring that back, make a 5, maybe make Android. But yeah, definitely tricky. Necro also is engraved that Aretos has to sort of play around here. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do here. Okay, they're going to tribute for a Sirocco. Sirocco will be able to beat over the Arcus, but Solemn's coming down for the Sirocco. I don't know about that one. I mean, I guess this plays around Icarus. Played around Icarus, so that's nice. But it does put them in a weird spot for sure. And you got Necro to protect yourself from battle. So, like, the idea is, like, you could potentially, start hitting in for a bunch each turn. And that's fine. I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I guess it makes sense to go for Solemn there. If you don't have a way to clear the Sirocco, that's a bit weird. So, it makes sense. And also, you get the Miller online, too, with the Arcus. You can also go for the Android play here, which it looks like they are indeed going to do. So they're going to bring out the Plague and, Synchro into Android. And yeah, to me, 5Ds is like DM. Lots of formats have some poison pills in them, but that turned people off. Yeah, that can happen. That often happens in GX too, I think. Like, especially with like Stein, where Stein is like the poison pill. Where like, people won't play like Reaper or Stein or whatever because they're like, oh, Stein decks are running around. We can't play those. But yeah, it's not necessarily bad, but just hard to get into, at least for Justice Punch. And that can definitely apply to a bunch of people. And I think that's definitely like why I always say that like not every format's going to be for every person, but for formats that are there, they can be good. I do not get this play. Is Crush Card? Crush Card's the only thing I can think of there. Yeah, Crush Card. So Crush Card coming down, it's going to tribute the Plague, banish that. And now that Sirocco is shut off. But, like, I don't know. Like, Blackwing's probably fine with this, right? Like, you just lose the Siroccos. I guess you lose the Shuras and the Boras as well. But, like, you still got Gale online. You still got Blizzard online. Like, Blackwing is probably okay with the Crush Card stuff. But I don't know. But, yeah, Crush Card, another poison pill. Speaking of poison pills, like, this is a card that turned a lot of people away from formats around this era. Which is a shame because I do think that there are some fun formats there. TT coming down, I think that is smart. You just cleared the Arcus since your Sirocco's getting cleared anyways. And looks like just Mind Crush in hand. Okay, pretty good to know about. But yeah, the Arcus will get cleared. And yeah, so that will go through. Get another Lightsworn name engrave. But I think it's still fine. I mean, it's awkward because now you don't have that for like a JD. But no, Torrential doesn't miss timing because it's being activated at the timing of the summon, right? Like, the summon happens, and then they did Crush Card. So, I assume they did that in response to the summon as opposed to, like, going to the battle phase, right? I guess they didn't specify, but they activated it right away on the summon. So, that to me says that they're, like, saying, on summon of Sirocco, we are going to do Crush Card. Right? So that is how I read the situation. Yeah, and Dust Shoot's still around. I don't get why Dust Shoot is legal for so long in these formats. Dust Shoot's such a toxic card. But yeah, CCV is kind of the IO of GX and 5Ds a little bit, yeah. But yeah, Dust Shoot is like one of my least favorite cards of all time. But yeah, so looks like that will clear the Arcus there. Mind Crush in hand. So, Haviology has floodgates open if they've got JD plus another thing here. But it looks like they do not. So they're just going to pass back to Aretos here. Do we see Aretos in, or JD engrave? We do not yet. Okay, it looks like a Kalute's coming down here. Kalute attacking for 14. No need doing the Mind Crush play because, I mean, basically the top deck has to be Judgment Dragon for the Mind Crush play to make sense. And you're basically taking a random chance rather than setting up a clock for your opponent. So it makes sense to do this. So Kalute, I think is the move there. And yeah, they're checking their grave. They still have a Necro engraved. They probably will have to use that on the next Kalute attack just in case Aretos has a Kalute. But nope, it's just a Shura. So you do have potentially leeway not to use Necro if you want to here. You know the last card is Mind Crush. But looks like they are going to use Necro, choosing not to go below 1,000 for the Judgment Dragon. But, you know, Latent Prismatic Mirror makes the Judgment Dragon a bit tougher to pull off anyways, so I'm not sure how to feel about that. Beckoning, though. Beckoning is going to be pretty good here. Is Double Honest game? Double Honest is not game. So you can't, or actually, it depends on what you get back. If you get back Lila Double Honest, you do Lila attack in to the Kalut. You go up to 3,100, and then you go up 1,400 more, so 4,500. So that is still not lethal. It's not lethal with that. But it does get the Necro into Grave, so that explains why they Necro the previous one. And, oh, they had 2 Wolves in hand? Oh, that is brutal. That's brutal, dude. Yeah. So the awkward thing here is, that you know that Aratos has Mind Crush. So if you get back the Honest and then don't use them this turn, they're just going to Mind Crush them away. So the move here might be just get back Lila, get back 2 Honests, and then attack into the Kalut, double Honest, get in a ton of damage, and then just pass. Because then Mind Crush isn't really as useful. CCV is, I think, has it expired? I don't know if CCV expired yet. There might be 1 turn on it left. But either way, you should be pretty fine. The one downside is if, like, they get Shura off the top, I think. But again, I don't think CCV is expired yet because it's... No, it had expired, yeah, because that was... you get to see 2 draws after that because it's the 3rd end phase of the opponent's turn. So, yeah. GX Format Pool, there were formats that I was interested in, but in 5B, there wasn't anything I was excited about. Okay, what did they get back there? I didn't see. I missed it. They got back 1 Honest. Okay. 1 Honest is a good start. I personally think the move is Double Honest plus Lila. You can also do Double Honest plus Arcus if you really want to. But, yeah, I have seen a lot of, like, formats in 5Ds that just seem like they might be pretty bad. But I am willing to give them a chance because there are formats in DM that I was like, oh, Fiber format, that seems like it'll be terrible because, you know, you got Fiber Dart running around, you got double Graceful Charity, that's going to be awful, but Fiber format is one of my favorite formats in the DM era, so I do think that, I wonder if Haviology's listening to stream, honestly, or they just settled on that play, which I do think is the best play, so, you know, who's to say, but they're thinking here, so maybe they will not. Okay, it looks like they are going to use an Honest here. Are they going to use the other Honest as well? They might. Just the 1 Honest? Okay, that's a bit interesting. Yeah, double Honest here. I think that makes sense. I mean, there are plenty of things that do make this situation weird, but I do think that most of the time you're fine with this. Yeah, and Crush Card had expired, so there are some things you need to worry about, like, you know, a Sirocco or a Kalut, etc. So that is why you don't go for Double Honest potentially, but I do think Double Honest is fine. So yeah, I am unbeatable in Fiber apparently, but I do think that it is still very fun. I think it is also, like, skillful as well because, okay, setting the Mind Crush I think makes sense. You want to have it at instant speed on your next turn, and there aren't really too many ways that it can beat over Sirocco here. That is the argument for not using Double Honest there, is if they drew into Shura plus, or Sirocco, then you're kind of screwed there. But, you know, realistically, you're not getting over that anyways, because this turn, they just Mind Crush the Honest away. So, or they can't do that this turn. So you attack over this turn with the Honest, and then you go for that. So honestly, honestly, probably saving the Honest was correct, but I don't know. I put forward my plan, and it did not quite work out. But yeah, Mind Crush doesn't need a card in hand, so it can't be activated right now, but I think they want it in hand, or they want it on field, so that way next turn they can do stuff potentially. But yeah, it looks like no Necros in Grave. So they got an open path here if Bora is in hand. Oh, well, yeah, that will do it. Oh, no, level 4? Can you not just go Armed Wing here and win? I guess this also wins, but yeah, that also works. Yeah, I guess you don't need to go Armed Wing and win because, like, there's no Battle Fader, and if they have Gores, then it doesn't matter anyways. So yeah, good stuff. Armed is 6, but they had Shura and Grave, so they could have gone Blizzard and brought back Shura to go into Armed Wing, and then buffed it up with the Sirocco. Doesn't matter. They still have lethal there either way because there's no battle fader in this format. But that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so we got our finals match here against Geomyfest versus Ratos. The classic Blackwing mirror. The classic. But yeah, armed is 28. You can also buff it up with Sirocco, so there are things to do there. But it doesn't matter either way. They're both just separate lethal lines that both do lethal, I'm pretty sure. The only thing that stops either is like Karibo, and Karibo stops both of them, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, we've got our final match against Aratos and Geomyfest here for all the marbles. All the marbles, the Blackwing mirror match here. And it should be good. Hopefully it will be a nice and quick one because I do have to go around 4. So I didn't expect this to last too long. But I think it should wrap up before I have to go. So it should be pretty fun. Yeah, Battle of the KFC Birds. No Karaz, though, in them. You know, so are they really KFC if there's no Karaz? That's my question. But yeah, let's see if the game is going on. Or if they're... Yep, there it is. Raiders versus Geomyfest. We got the game going. Battle of the KFC Birds. I mean, Blackwing mirrors generally tend to go pretty quick. So this should probably be a blink and you miss it game, especially when Whirlwind plus Shura in the opener. Oh my goodness, dude. Oh my word. That's about as good as it gets for the Blackwing opener. Raiders is just so stunned at that incredibly powerful hand that they had to take a step back and then dive back in. But they're probably going for Kalut here. Yep, getting Kalut makes sense to me. Next turn, if you want to, you can go Kalut, search out Gale, special summon Gale, go for synchro plays. Otherwise, you've got a pretty defensive board here because, you know, if they want to try attacking over Shura, you've got the Kalut in hand. So, rough stuff for them. Upstart here coming down. Raiders will gain 1,000. Geomyfest draws a card. Heavy's going to be pretty good here. Getting rid of that Icarus, playing around it by not committing 2 cards to field. But it looks like they don't really have much here. They're setting 3, passing back. So Raiders is still in a really good spot here. If Raiders had a heavy of their own, that would go pretty hard here. But they probably don't have the heavy, given that they set up the Whirlwind plus Icarus. But maybe they do. Maybe they were playing just Icarusing one card that they had, plus their own Whirlwind, and then going for heavy afterwards. I don't know. Who's to say? But definitely a tricky game state to be in if you're a Ratos here. Do you just play conservatively, attack him with Shura? Or do you bring in another monster, potentially play into TT, but potentially set up more plays later on? Looks like they're just going to attack in to the Shura there. And Geomyfest is thinking here, max damage that this can do is 1,800 plus 4,200. So that is only 6,000. So it won't kill them. So you're fine taking that, but now you're getting into a bit of a danger zone here, potentially. Raiders sets 2 now, knowing that the heavies are gone. But, you know, there could be an Icarus attack coming through here. Brain Comp plus Icarus would be kind of nuts. Not going to lie. That would be wild. And I have the read that Raiders does not have an Icarus attack of their own set here. And yeah, they're going to go for the Icarus now after that damage gets in. Popping the 2 back row. MST coming down for one of the other back row here. Hitting a bottomless. And also there's the mirror. So yeah, you normally might activate the mirror, but it doesn't really change anything because, you know, they just activate Icarus anyways. Pop your board. So I guess you save 1,800 damage. But if they don't have Icarus, then it's kind of a minus. So yeah, and then there are 2 more sets for Geomyfest there. And yeah, Blizzard coming down. Blizzard can be pretty good. Bring back that Shura. And will they go for a synchro play here? Just attacking for 13 is the question. You've seen 1 bottomless gone. So that bottomless could potentially be used again in the future. I think looks like they're just getting in for some damage here. And then main 2, they're probably going to go into a monster. Because this way, you know, you don't want to leave these weak guys on field for a Shura of Geomyfest's own. And you get Blackwing, Armwing. That's protected with Kalut, so it makes sense here. Geomyfest is thinking on that, but it looks like they're going to go into their turn here. And what do they have to stop that Armwing with a Kalut as backup? Bit tricky. Even if they've got Shura plus Kalut, they can't get over the Armwing because Armwing plus Kalut is just more. So yeah, not looking good for Geomyfest here. I think this will probably be Aratos' victory in game 1 of the match. If they've got double Kalut here, this is lethal. So that is something that Geomyfest have to think about, and they are going for the mirror on that. I think that is smart. You know about 1 Kalut in hand. The odds that they have another isn't necessarily the lowest thing in the world. So I think that was the good play there. And honestly, main 2, Aratos didn't really need to do much here. They're in a very protected position. And Geomyfest only has 3 cards. They've got 4. They can potentially do plays next turn instead. So I feel like Aratos probably doesn't need to do anything here, but they're thinking about whether it is advantageous for them to do that or not. They might also be thinking about what back row to set if they've got back row. So a bit tricky, but yeah. In this Battle of the Birds, it can go very, very quickly one way or the other. So you never know what's going to happen. And Rage is definitely thinking about that for sure. Set and 1 passing. Looks like the DB lag might have struck again. And yeah, so it looks like it wasn't really that big of a thing. It's just a set 1 pass to GMYFS. GMYFS going for a lure here, drawing 2, banishing 1, or just discarding the entire hand if they don't draw into a bird, or it's another dark. Yeah, lure just drawing deeper. It doesn't really do much. Okay, hitting a Sirocco is pretty good. And, oh, there's the Whirlwind. There's Whirlwind plus Bora. Are they going to go Whirlwind Bora into Gale? Or are they going to go into Kalut instead? A couple different options here for sure. Looks like they're going for Gale. They could be going for 3K and then plus Dark Strike Fighter maybe. That could be what they're doing. Unclear. But they're going for Gale and they're attacking in for 3K. Yeah, that'll drop them down to 42. Gale will use his effect to Synchro Summon. But yeah, and bring out a Armor Master here. I think that makes sense. It's impervious to battle. It's a pretty good card all around. So yeah, Rages is in a bit of a tricky spot here. I mean, there are many ways they can get out of it, but now the life points are relatively equalized here. The card advantage is also like somewhat equalized. So it's a bit tricky for them. They do have a Kalut in hand that we know about, and Kalut can be good, but against that Armor Master, it's a bit tricky. Going for a Blizzard here. You can go into the Shura, go for a 6, but I'm not sure what 6 really gets you out of this spot. Oh, Icarus will also get you out of this spot, potentially. Going for the back row plus the Armor Master, but Solemn will stop that Icarus from going through. Now, if you've got triple Kalut, you do win here. But you need triple Kalut, and you need for your opponent to not have a Kalut as well. So whether you want to do that or not, that's up to you. I personally, if you've got triple Kalut in hand, I say just go for it, right? That's your last chance to really do it. But they probably have other things as well. They might have a Bora since they're viewing the extra deck right now. So they could go into a level 6. I don't know if that would really be the most advantageous thing, because again, our master sort of is just fine with that. That's tough to say. Yeah, it's a very tricky spot for Rages to be in here. And just like that, the game is turned around in an instant. If you look at what back rows in Graveyard as well, there's double Icarus attack in Grave, so not the most likely thing that they've got another Icarus attack here. Mirror Force in Grave as well. So they've lost a lot of their defensive options here against an Armor Master, which is just, a really annoying card for them to deal with. I don't know how they get out of this one, if I'm being honest. Although Honest isn't going to show its face in this matchup because this is a Blackwing Mirror. Ha 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 ha. You can tell it's been a long stream when I make jokes like that. But I think that this should, just passing, Yeah, might be double Kalut in hand, might just be one Kalut, but either way, you just leave it in hand. Oh, going for the Blizzard there as well. Going for Bora. Sinking in to something good here. Now, the question is, does Kalut only do till the end of the damage step, or is it just the entire battle phase? Okay, going for the Goyo here, they need double Kalut to protect that Blizzard. If they don't have double Kalut, then that Blizzard is not being protected here. They're also taking 15 plus 2,500, so that drops them down to 4,000 damage. So they could just use Kalut to stave off damage here. I don't think it's the best, but they might have to do it. Yeah, not looking good. Not looking good for Ratos at all. Yep, that will go. Blizzard revived the Shura. And then Shura was tributed for the Icarus attack. So GeoMyFS had the Solemn for that. Oh, you can't special summon the Blizzard, so that did come up there as well. So Goyo can't take the Blizzard, but I do think that was smart to go into the Goyo because it beats over the Blizzard if they just got one Kalut. Now, if they got double Kalut, you're probably fine with that trade. Very scary spot for Ratos to be in. I mean, we've seen them come back from 200 in the past. And there are ways for them to do it. Sirocco. Speaking of the devil, Sirocco buffs up to 4,500. You've got the Kalut on top of that attack over the Goyo. That is indeed game. So if GeoMyFS doesn't have a stopper for this, they need the Solemn there. Yep. And will that be the end of the game? Does Ratos have a follow-up play here? If they've got Brain Con, no, they can't use Brain Con. Otherwise, they could have taken the Armor Master and attacked over Goyo, used the Kalut to puff it up. But yeah, not looking good. I mean, if they got Reborn, that will do it. But they need to have something here. The fact that they're not immediately slamming something down means that I think that they don't have a way to come back from this one. So that will probably be game 1 for GMYFS here. They're thinking though, so they might have something here. I mean, that to me seems like Reborn. But if they've got Reborn, why aren't they just slamming it, right? Reborn for the Sirocco just wins the game on the spot. So to me, they can't have Reborn here. They've already normaled. They've got a Clute in hand. They've got 2 cards that could be mystery cards here. I don't know how they're getting out of this one, if I'm being honest. But they're doing a big thonk. Could also be that they that DB's lagging, but oh, okay. They do have Reborn. Okay, yeah, that just does it. Gale will also do this because you have the Goyo. But, I mean, I don't know. Gale on Sirocco also does it. Like, you know, there's nothing about that stops that, right? So, yeah. They had multiple ways to get out of it with Reborn there. So, yeah. I mean, that works. You can special summon out Sirocco even if it's been Solemn, because this card, like, doesn't have a condition that says, like, it must first be special summoned some way or anything like that. So, yeah. The Solemn on the bird was definitely correct because that was lethal. That was known lethal. But yeah, you can just Reborn a Sirocco. Like, for instance, like if you pitch Sirocco to something in hand, you can Reborn it back. Like, that's fine. Same thing applies for this as well. So yeah, Reborn just did the most there. But that's gonna be game 1 for Ratos. And again, that was very, very back and forth. And yeah, Clute for game just as the Lord intended. Exactly. You gotta have that in the mirror. You gotta have the damage step moment, you know. But yeah, definitely an interesting mirror game there. Will Ratos win the next one as well? That's the question. But either way, I'll probably have to jump off stream at the end of this match in particular. So I'm kind of rooting for GMYFS to put a bow on this thing. But, you know, either way, you can still watch the game afterwards on Dueling Book. But I will have to go, like, basically after this game. So, yeah. Like, after this game is in, like, the end of this match, right? Unless it goes, like, really, really long, but I don't think it will. Going for Whirlwind on the Shura, booking that down so that way they don't get the search. I think that's very smart. It also opens yourself up to bring out Shura next turn, hitting over their Shura and going for that. Going for Sirocco instead, though, and Ratos is thinking here they might have an Icarus attack in their back row. If they're thinking they pop the Sirocco and the back row, and then they don't have to worry about Bora coming down here. So that might be the move. Although, if they bring out a Bora, you're probably fine Icarusing later. GMYFS is thinking about that thinking. So, yeah, same hand 2 games in a row. Yep. It must be nice. Must be nice to just open Whirlwind plus Shura both games. But the key thing here is that you're going second this time. TT coming down. And GMYFS is thinking about that Solemn coming down. Okay. Get some interesting stuff going on here. Now, if GMYFS wants to make Thought Ruler, that is something they can do. Gain back 1,800, go back to 5,800. But it seems like they're just getting in for 2,000 damage, setting 2. Probably have an Icarus if they're doing that. And that opens themselves up to popping the Whirlwind plus whatever monster comes out. And, yeah, we'll have to see exactly what happens there. So, what are they gonna do? Ratos has to have another Blackwing hand to use the Whirlwind, but they also know that they're walking into Icarus if they do that. Yeah, Book and Solemn have been used up. Icarus is definitely on field. I am 100% soul reading that one of those back rows is Icarus. And I feel like a Ratos has to be thinking, like, okay, one of those is Icarus as well, because there's no reason, or there are multiple reasons to just keep this board, but, like, that to me makes the most sense for keeping this board is if you get Icarus, right? I mean, there's also just the getting in for damage and just leaving your things on board because you've got Clute, maybe. That could be a thing, too. But, like, yeah, Icarus is probably the play. Going for smashing. That will hit the Sirocco there. Getting rid of that. Going for a Bora here. Now, will the Black Whirlwind go through? Nope. Bottomless will banish that Bora. And so no Icarus getting used just yet. This makes sense. If you've got a way to deal 1-for-1 with the Bora as opposed to tributing for the Icarus, then you're probably fine with that. Going for a Bora of their own, getting in for 3k, or just sinking off into an Armor Master. Oh, Dark Strike. Can they win this turn? Oh, yep, they can. They can indeed. Okay, yeah, that will be the end of the game. Yeah. Dark Arm Dragon plus Dark Strike will be it. So now it comes down to that game 3. Will GMYFS win or will a Ratos win? Either way, at the end of this match, I will have to go. So That's how it goes sometimes. I thought the tournament would wrap up by now because Cat's a very quick format, but sometimes it isn't as quick. But Raiders is going to go first here, so if they open the Shura Whirlwind play yet again, then they're going to be in a really good spot. So they're drawing for turn. What are they doing? They're going for a lure. I mean, that'll help them draw into Shura plus Whirlwind. What are they banishing from hand, though, is the question. When the stream can't be live to save its life? What? I don't quite get that, but, I mean, if it is, if they do sort of go into the last match, maybe I'll do a video just doing over that replay analysis just to add a little bit of a footnote to this, but I think it should be fine here. So yeah, they're thinking on that alert, but it is tough in this format to banish off alert in Blackwings. Because you have to sort of like change the way your like mind works if you're used to like Edison Blackwings. Because again, you've got 3 Gale. So sometimes banishing the Gale is the right move. I think they're going to banish a Blizzard though. Whirlwind, Shura. Again. Oh, it keeps falling back a few seconds. Oh, that's too bad. Hopefully it's not an ongoing issue. Hopefully it isn't too awkward to watch that way. But yeah, I mean, I've got it on like low latency and stuff, and it should be fine based on things here. Okay, it looks like they've got a Whirlwind plus Bora here as well. That's going to be pretty good for GMYFS. Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Let's see, stream health. Stream health says excellent, so I don't know here. I don't know about the stream issues, but hopefully it does resolve itself shortly. But anyways, Gale's coming out, so Gale can have the Shura there if they want to. You can also go into another Dark Strike Fighter or something like that. So the idea is if you go Gale on the Shura, go into Dark Strike, you play around Kalut that way because even one Kalut on a Shura can't get over a Dark Strike Fighter if it's halved. So that's an idea they could go for. You can also just go Black Rose, wipe the board, but looks like they're going to book down the Shura there. So that way they get in damage. They're going to bring out this Gale, poke over the Shura with the Bora there. Get in for 5, attack in for 13 with the Gale. And now the question is, do they go into Dark Strike Fighter like they did before? It looks like they are indeed going to do that. They don't have 3 Darks engraved, so they can't do a dad play. Okay, they're going to go into Armor Master. Yeah, Armor Master is probably the better pick. If you can't kill this turn, you might as well go into Armor Master. Very difficult for Aratus to get over here, even with a Kalut, because it can't be destroyed by battle. So, yeah, very tricky spot to be in. Now, unlike the last game, Aratus does still have multiple Icarus attacks online. So they can do stuff like that. They're just going to bring out a Shura, bring out a Bora from deck, go for a Brancon. Will that be the end of the game? I think that might be 25 plus 18 plus 17 plus a Kalut maybe, or double Kalut. That could do it. That's 35 plus, yeah, so that is 6,000. Double Kalut will kill here. Yep, and there's the double Kalut. Okay, so it's going to go into a second match here. And yeah, they got the Blizzard and the Darkron, but they couldn't quite manage to make that work. So yeah, they're going to go into another game here. I have to go at like 3:50, so we can watch 3 minutes of this, but then I'll have to go. If you like what you see here, then definitely subscribe to the channel to know what I'm streaming in the future. Also watch my retro gameplay videos. We're wrapping up Cyber format soon, going into Reaper format, so that should be a lot of fun. But I'll get the first 3 minutes of the replay here, or of the game here, and then maybe I'll make a video on it, maybe not. But you can always watch the replay in the Format Library Discord server after the fact. So definitely head on over there if you want to know who actually wins the event, because it really could go either way. No Whirlwind on Razor's side this time. But still very... Oh, Dust Shoot. I mean, Dust Shoot's about as good as it gets there. Yeah. But I hope you all enjoyed the CAD format feature. I think it's a fun format overall. Yeah, I just think it's neat. I think it's neat. And... so, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. But, yeah, maybe I'll do... Let me know in the chat here if you want me to, like, go over this last replay after the fact and just have it as a footnote to the stream. But, yeah, that's probably going to do it for me soon. I'll just wait till 3:50 exactly. So, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and then we'll be good to go. It looks like a bit of a thinker for Ratos here on the Dust Shoot. 1 minute left, though, on the stream. Will we get to see what they're sending back off Dust Shoot? I feel like Ratos probably has this one wrapped up. though. That would be my guess, because Death Shoot on that is going to be really good. So I think they're going to win the game 1. Unclear what will happen in game 2 and 3. But, you know, given how explosive this mirror is, and also given the fact that, you know, if Erasmus does win this game 1, GM1, if that's going to go first. If they win that one, then Erasmus is going to go first. And going first in this mirror, I do think is a very, very good thing. So I do think that Erasmus will probably win this just from the opening play here. Same back Dad. And apparently there's a lot of back row might just be for Ratos there. So 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Will we be able to see GMYFS's crackback play here? That's the question. Upstart, we'll get to draw them into something else, so that's nice. But yeah, looks like 350 now, so I do have to be signing off. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed as always. I think I will just do a quick video just going over this replay, showing it off in finalizing the results of this. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Definitely check on Format Library if you want to know the results like right after this match wraps up. You can also watch it on DB as well currently. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.